Hello, welcome back to another episode of Far Off Films, the number one anime podcast of all time, ever. Uh, it is I, number one weeb. Shut up, you guys know it's the best anime podcast of all time. We're an anime podcast now, so
Oh,
it's me, Timmy
come on,
from
Luca, let's
Tim
get
John
out of
Moon
here.
Productions. Uh,
um, it's me, Jules of Sadness, who is sad, from the channel The Walrus Man.
are you a Belladonna?
And it's
No.
me, Luca Floopy Doopy. I actually don't know what other movies we're talking
Okay.
about. I
Floopy
totally
Doopy.
forgot. But yeah, it's.
Yeah, same, actually, I was wondering.
Saw X and Henry Sugar,
Oh
remember?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
So. Yeah, so, yeah, I was gonna ask how are you all, but I asked that like an hour ago before we started
Yeah,
recording, so.
we spend a lot of time, just rambling about
Yeah.
whatever shit before we start recording,
Yeah.
and then we always start
Bullshit.
recording like 45 minutes late.
And when
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Uh-huh.
you don't really have
Mhm.
school anymore, Jules, so you're kind of chilling, so it's fine. But yeah.
Shh. I mean,
Yeah.
I was always chilling because we record these on like
That's
Fridays
true.
or Saturdays. So
Yeah. School is lame. Yeah. For those of you listening,
Exactly.
drop out of school, go play more video games instead. So.
yeah, invest in the blockchain.
So, but anyway, what
Anyway,
bullshit has happened this time? Jules, please
oh,
inform
this
us.
time it's a sad day, you guys, because it's over. Because A24 is apparently considering going into more commercial films, and
Oh, I
yeah,
think
it's
I
it's
heard
the
about
end.
this. Yeah.
It's they're not special anymore. Now that they're making the big IP projects, apparently, no, they're no longer special. I don't want to play with
already
you
hate how
anymore,
the-
It's fine.
Andy says in Toy Story
Neon's
2.
always been
Toy
better.
Story 2. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or actually, if you really want to go harder, Janus Films has always been better.
Jane Anus films, yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
Janus films.
Yeah.
Anus
Yeah,
films.
Janus. Janus films. Yeah. So.
Every time I go see like an old movie with Rowan in the cinema and the Janus Films logo comes up, I say Anus
You know what?
Films.
You know what's a studio that kind of bangs, like kind of all the time. Okay.
What?
Sony
What?
Pictures Classics. Oh my god.
Yes,
Dude.
yes.
Yeah.
Sony Pictures
Yes.
Classics.
Yeah.
They're
I-
underrated.
yeah.
Like. Mwah,
They get it done.
perfect.
They made
I
Call by Your Name.
Like whenever like I see that logo,
And they
pop
did the-
up
didn't
on
they
my
do the-
screen, like I'm like, what the hell is this logo? Like this looks like some pirated fucking like
Yeah, I
bootleg
know.
version of the film because their logo is so shit, but they're banging, but yeah,
Yeah. They
Didn't they?
consistently
They released
like,
The Climb,
great
right?
stuff.
yes.
Yeah, they did The Climb, I think, and they did The Father, the Florian Zeller film with Anthony Hopkins.
Wow.
So that was
They
great.
distributed
And
some
even
of
when they do-
Wong Kar-wai's films as well, I think.
Yeah, and even when they do, like, I guess you can call it mainstreamy type movies, like there's still a lot of artistic integrity with them, because they also did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Kung Fu Hustle, and like those I would say are more like blockbustery type movies, I guess, but they still like are very artistically driven, So, but yeah. To be fair though, I feel like but going back to A24, like isn't this already what they're kind of doing already? Because like, is it
Yeah,
most
I
of their
know.
profits like just come from? Most of their profits come from like releasing these like horror movies
They don't
and
make
then
much
marketing
profit
them
at
to
all.
normies. Well, they like trick normies into like go see their like art house like indie horror movies. You know, like remember when people went to go see like fucking what's it called, Hereditary. People were like, "Oh hell yeah, this is going to be like a scary movie," and then they were like, "What the
This is
fuck? Like this
different.
was some art house bullshit. This is some indie pretentious bullshit or whatever." Like I just assumed they did this anyway, you know, to trick normies into watching their horror movies. So
Not really. They actually rarely make any profit. Like I don't. Most of their movies aren't that successful. I think Beau is Afraid like fucked them a lot financially.
well, yeah, no shit, because like I don't know how they how they expected to make money off of that one.
No, I think
So
I think a lot of the time they make a profit, but
Yeah.
you know, yeah. I mean, I don't really mind them going into more popular stuff as long as they still stay true to their brand and like give like small filmmakers like the finances that they need. If they just become like a big fucking company, then that will suck. But like, you know, if it's like kind of like a, you know, one for me, one for you kind of deal, then why not, you know? But I don't know. It really depends what happens
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what they sign with, because like bigger projects aren't gonna be like, oh, let's go to A24 to distribute this new Harry Potter film or fucking Avengers movie, you know.
yeah, like Marvel
Yeah.
movies are going to be like distributed by A24. That's just not gonna fucking happen. Yeah, but like, I don't know. Like yeah, I also have no problem with this at all. Like, I mean, as long as it's like Lucas said, as long as they continue letting directors just do whatever the fuck they want, then if what they want to do is to make like I'm reading this article here. Apparently, they were like trying to like get the rights to the Halloween franchise.
Yeah,
So
like
like,
that sounds cool.
Which they didn't,
if
by the way.
some, yeah, like if
Mir-
if they want
Miramax
to get
got it.
like yeah,
Which I didn't know
well, if
still
they want,
existed, by the way. I thought they shut
Didn't
down.
Miramax
Yeah.
always have the rights to
Yeah,
Halloween?
well-
Or
well, the rights to a
No.
lot of fucking franchises. They have the
Oh,
rights to
Scream,
Scream.
that's
They have the
it.
rights to
Scream,
Hellraiser and all
sorry.
this other
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, but I just they still make money though. Like I think Everything Ever All at Once, Everything Ever All at Once was their most profitable film, right? Like that was like a pretty
Yeah.
big
Yeah,
success.
that made like over $100
I mean, and
million.
Talk to Be's been
Yeah,
like the
and
most
then Uncut
popular horror
Gems
film
was
they've
also
ever produced. So like they're slaying, they're doing well. Like
Mm.
yeah. So if they if
Yeah,
they're just
and
gonna
then-
give stuff more exposure by doing this, then sure, why not? You know.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, so I mean, they're probably gonna try and franchise that anyway. Because didn't they say they were gonna make a Talk to Me 2 or something like that?
There's a
Or
Talk to Me 2 and
A sequel and a prequel.
But I think that's the records.
Okay.
I don't know if that's like 824 kind of. I'm actually not sure who initiated it. All I know is that they filmed the prequel while shooting Talk to Me, and a sequel has been
Oh, okay,
greenlit.
gotcha.
So maybe someone was like, "Yo, if you guys want to make a sequel, you can." And then maybe they were like, "Yeah." Maybe they wanted to make a sequel the whole time. Who knows? But yeah.
I mean, yeah, if Raka Raka wanted to make a sequel, then fucking let them. Like, who gives a shit, you
Yeah.
know? So, like,
Mm.
yeah, I just like I wouldn't really know what like an A24 like blockbuster would look. Wouldn't know what the fuck that would look
I mean,
like.
it would probably
you know?
just look like any old blockbuster, except
I
with
only
the-
like them when they're making the indie movies.
I mean, A24 Halloween
Yeah.
sounds better than any Halloween that exists ever, honestly. So you know,
Yeah, it sounds better.
Oh,
than
don't
fucking
disrespect
all
John
those
Carpenter like
nah,
that.
first Halloween is
No, but it
boring.
sounds better than the shitty David
Yeah.
Gordon Green. Oh, whoa, okay. Like I didn't say
You just
that.
you just have
So,
the worst horror opinions recently, Luca.
You truly
Ooh,
have
f-
the
First The
you
Exorcist is
truly-
bad, or first The Exorcist is mid. Now that Halloween is mid.
Yeah, you truly take the L's with these takes, don't you?
Bruh.
So
I
Yeah.
stand by myself. And yeah.
yes.
Yeah, but you're fucking
Maybe I am
wrong.
but I don't care. I would rather watch every single other Halloween movie,
Is it better to speak or
then
die?
watch the first one again.
That
I'm
is
disappointed.
incorrect. Yeah, that is incorrect. Yeah. So,
No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
John Carpenter, if you're listening, this is... I love you, man.
yeah. I mean, well, okay, as long as they continue making, like letting, auteur directors continue make whatever they want to make. Like as long as like we get another, The
As long as they
Lighthouse
let
or,
me make a film.
Yeah, as long as they let us make movies, then they can do whatever the fuck they want. If they want to make like I don't know, like an A24 alien movie, like sounds like a cool idea. I'm not saying like they're gonna get the rights to it or anything, but that would be
But
kind of
also,
cool,
like,
So.
people are going at this
Fucking-
like, oh, A24 makes artsy movies, blah 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 blah. But it's like, that's A24 is just like a label. Like, it's about the people behind it.
It's just the distribution
Yeah, so
company.
it's like,
No
it
one
knows
really
this.
doesn't
The
matter
actual
what
movie,
they
yeah.
produce.
They're like, oh my god, you changed
Yeah,
my
because,
life.
like,
We're just the
yeah, it's
distribution
just a
company.
distribution company, and like it's not about like you can watch any A24 movie that doesn't have like a good name behind it, and it probably fucking sucks, honestly. Like, it's not A24 that makes the movies good. It's not the label. It's not the brand that makes the movies good. It's the fact that they let people who are good at making movies make their movies. That's why they're good,
Yeah.
and that's why they are a recognizable and great like piece in filmmaking history. That's why their distribution company is great.
Exactly.
So as long as they
Yeah.
still do that, that's fine. It's not going to change the reputation.
changed
There'll
film.
still be great A24 films. There's still already shit A24 films. So yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
no one knows that that A24 distributed Tusk, Kevin Smith's
yeah, exactly.
awful horror
Did they?
film.
I didn't. Are you for
They-
real?
yeah.
I did not know that.
I'm not joking. I'm not joking. A24 distributed that.
They did.
That is insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like any A24
Wow.
movie that like doesn't have a popular name behind it, like yeah, like it like I'm trying to think of
Yeah, like Hot Summer Nights
some
or
random
something.
shit like
Yeah,
that.
Hot Summer Nights was awful, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I advise
Yeah, but-
everyone who thinks that they make only the best movies to go look at their complete list of filmography or their complete list of movies and see how many films they release a year that are just like
Yeah.
no one cares about.
yeah.
Yeah, just like they need to like if it's not one of like the high profile
Like
Let
a
me
lot
have
of
a
their
look.
movies are great, but
Yeah,
that-
let's
for
take-
the exact same reason that I just mentioned is because they let people who are great at making movies make movies. That's the reason. It's not
Yeah.
A24 as a brand that comes in and adds their flair and adds their style. The reason why a lot of A24s blend together is because it's a lot of indie filmmakers. That's it. That's like the only reason why it feels
Yeah.
like the brand is the one making all the decisions. But even then, like, not even a lot of the films like are very similar. Like when like people
Yeah, they're all very
people
different,
kind of
yeah.
have like a certain like image that comes to their mind when they think A24. They think like artsy horror movie or like coming of age drama kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, a lot of those movies do fall under A24's bracket, but honestly only like a few of them are really like that, like
Yeah, like there's A24 doesn't have like a
Yeah.
specific like it's not like Blumhouse. Like Blumhouse's thing is just they make
Yeah,
shitty
exactly.
cheap horror movies.
that,
Like that's their
it,
shtick.
but,
But like with A24, it's but like with A24, like you just look at their upcoming like roster right now, like something like Dream Scenario looks like very, very different than something like, Priscilla or The Iron Claw.
Yeah.
It's like these are all very different movies because they come from different
You know what I
filmmakers.
forgot? A24 distributed The
What?
Whale. Oh damn. I forgot about that.
Ugh,
Make it sound like
awful.
that's a problem. It was a
Awful.
great movie, okay?
No, it wasn't.
Guys.
No, it
Yes, it
wasn't.
was.
I've literally
Shut up.
never soured on a film more quickly than I have with The Whale. It's
It
just
is
after
still
that
a
Horror
great
Films
film.
discussion, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, man, that was awful.
Okay, I have soured on my opinions on Blonde since that discussion, but I still remain headstrong on what I said about The Whale.
It was so
It is one of
bad,
Darren
though.
Aronofsky's best films. It is one of his best
No,
films.
it's
It is
not.
better than The Wrestler. I stand by
Oh,
that.
fuck you.
So,
No way.
yes, it
No,
is.
in no world. In no
Bruh, it's
world is
so
that
funny
film
how
better
Yes,
than
it
The
he
is.
Wrestler.
holds on his opinion. Like the other day, the other episode.
Yeah.
Oh, Bottoms is
No,
so
shut
great,
up.
one of the best of the year. He sees one person rated a 6, and he's like,
Yeah, then you said it was
actually,
mid."
maybe it's like really fucking mid.
Mid.
Like, Jules, you fall
Like,
like,
yeah.
like what the fuck?
Pick an opinion.
What can I...
Like,
you act
what's-
like opinions aren't
stand-
linear.
Yeah.
I just get overexcited a lot, and I'm like, I rate things higher than they are, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? Actually,
maybe you
yeah,
need
that was probably
maybe you need a
a,
3-day break, like thinking session before you rate
Yeah,
something.
this sounds like someone who's just very insecure about their movie taste, and they just want to
Oh,
follow the
shut
trend,
the fuck
they
up.
wanna follow the leader. So
When I got out of Oppenheimer, I was thinking that's a solid 7 out of 10, and then by the time I'd like walked to the Uber and thought about it, it was already a 6.
oh yeah, you know what
You don't.
I have
I got
to...
so much shit from my Oppenheimer take. You can't give me shit about being insecure about my movie taste.
What?
I stayed
Dude,
with that rating.
I every now and then I get reviews saying like, do you even like movies, like on my letterbox, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. You know, I guess I just
It's
don't.
Jack.
So. Jack,
Jack,
or
I know
just
it's
some other
you.
people. Jack was like, I shout out to Jack, but I found his
Amazing
comment
guy.
on my Exorcist review really funny. He's like, I know I say this all the time, but this one in particular really like pissed me off or something. It's like this, like the Exorcist, the when I gave it a 6 or whatever, he was just like,
I saw
now
that
you've
and I was
gone too
like,
far.
fully
Yeah.
agree.
So yeah, but love him. Love to have him on again. So, but
Yep.
yeah. Anyway, what was I
Invite me
saying?
on, Jack.
Yeah.
A24 about how they
Yeah,
say
that
the
was
film
it.
industry.
Yeah, we can stop that.
Yeah, they're the gods of movies.
Yeah, yeah, we can just get
So-
off
Yeah,
this.
that's fine.
Yeah, you mentioned it before, but like you said, like if we're like I think Neon also does like a better job as well. You know, like
Yeah, Neon.
you know,
I think I watch like most of Neon's movies. Like, I only see like only like 3 A24 films a year.
You probably see a lot more A24
Yeah,
movies
I
than you
mean-
think because they produce a lot more movies than you think.
Oh, true. Yeah, they do. They do a lot of things. Yeah. Let me see.
What
how
is-
many-
what does Neon have up aside from Anatomy of a Fall and Ferrari?
This year.
Does
Well,
anyone
that's the
know?
thing because they
Let me
only
look this up.
like Neon are actually the people that only release or distribute very few movies per year, but all of their movies like always seem to be like banging. Like
Actually, that's not true. I'm just looking at their list right now. They've distributed like 10 films this year.
Yeah, and not all their.
Admittedly,
movies
one
are-
of them.
I mean,
Okay,
I
no,
haven't-
wait. They've distributed 9
I
films
haven't-
this year because one of them was the Old Boy re-release.
Oh
so
yeah.
they've got
So,
Ferrari,
but-
the Ferrari. They had the one that you liked, Timmy, Infinity Pool.
Oh yeah,
haven't seen that.
I mean, that's another movie where I don't mean to sound like a Jules or anything, but when I came out of that, I was like, that was kind of epic, that was awesome. But then the more I
Yeah,
thought
see,
about it, I was like,
it happens.
this
You rated
is
that like a
kinda dumb. Like, this is-
4 out of 5 star when you first saw that.
yeah,
And now you're like,
and then I mean,
eh.
I dropped it down to a 7, but it's like a very low 7. Like I wouldn't be surprised if I like gave it a 6 or something like the next time I saw it or something. So, but the thing is, I'm cool when I do that, and you're a baby when you do it.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
difference.
So that's how it is.
So-
They're distributing
so-
Perfect Days soon, so maybe you guys will finally get to see it.
Nah.
Yeah, I really want to see it. Everyone's been hyping this up, and
Yeah,
I want to make
it's
sure I can
awesome.
at least watch. I want to make sure I can at least watch Paris, Texas before I see it, because that I've never seen a Vim Vendors movie, so and that's his most famous one, so I figure.
Watch that and Wings of Desire as well.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, they're all pretty easy to access from what I understand, because I know Paris,
Yeah,
Texas is on Max, and let me see. Oh, Wings of Desire is also on Max. Yeah, fucking perfect. Great. I'll see those before I see
exactly. Awesome movies.
Perfect Day. Yeah. So,
Paris,
um,
Texas, one of my favorite films of the 80s.
nice. So, yeah. Well, I don't know. So, but either way, though,
Yeah.
yeah, A24 can do whatever the fuck they want as long as they continue pumping out, movies like Uncut Gems and
Yeah.
Midsummer and Everything Ever All at Once. Like,
As
as
long
long
as
as
they
they
got the next
continue,
Ari Aster, then we're all chill.
yeah, as long as they continue distributing those types of movies, then they can do whatever the fuck they want. I'll see Avengers Endgame from A24. Fuck it. Yeah, I'll see that. So,
Exactly.
um,
Just because it's them.
Harry Potter and the Poopy Pants of distributed by A24. Let's go. Let's do it. So,
I think the whole gay community would
I
go
would love to
against
see The Lamb too.
24 if they distributed a horror movie. That would be their falling off.
mm,
Not really.
Well,
I,
Lamb was kind of.
I don't have a comment to that. So,
Alrighty, should we move on?
no.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, speaking of horror movies, I guess we should talk about Saw X.
I don't
Guys
know if
are-
Jules watched
are
that.
down.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, you
I
didn't
mean,
see it?
you guys can spoil the shit out of it. I don't care. Like, if there's any movie I don't care about being spoiled about, it's a Saw movie.
Why? They're so much fun, though.
Yeah,
This is
but
probably one of the best
I
Saw
could
movies.
I could just have fun.
It's
Didn't
one
you
of the
rate it on
best,
like
but
a
it's
5 out
also
of 10?
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I also gave it a 5 out of 10. But there's but that's why we need to talk about it, because I want it. Like, there's specific context for me giving it a 5 out of 10. Because even though I gave it that score, it is both one of the best Saw movies.
I mean,
but
you
is
can just
also
say like it's fun but mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not even that though. It's like, okay, I'm gonna spoil the shit out of Saw X. Sorry, Jules, and sorry to anyone who hasn't seen it. I
Go
gotta
ahead.
spoil the movie.
I don't care.
So the first
fine.
like 30 minutes of this movie are genuinely, like, ironically the most hilarious parts of the whole film, because the first 30 minutes is like them attempting to be a real movie. So they're like trying to like develop Jigsaw into like a sympathetic
that
main
was the
character, and
boring
like
part
out
for
of the
me,
blue, I just
honestly.
started. No, it was so funny. I burst out like I chuckled to myself every now and then, because I was like, "This is so stupid. I can't believe they're actually trying to like make Jigsaw like a real like protagonist character, and then they're like actually like doing like the bare minimum to
Wait.
like try and be an actual movie and not like a Saw sequel."
So they-
It was so funny.
They try to humanize the bad guy.
They tried to humanize the guy that killed like hundreds of people throughout the entire franchise. That
How
was
much do
so
you know about
fucking funny.
Saw?
That's so
It
funny.
was. Yeah.
I've seen all the films.
Okay. So you know how he dies pretty much.
Yeah.
You've seen all. Yeah. He died in
Yeah. I
the
know how he
first
dies, and then
yeah,
he's just
you
been
know
kind of
that.
like brought back now
So
and
this one
again.
is,
Like,
set
whatever the fuck the
before he
timeline
dies,
is
like,
that?
when he just gets cancer, and then like
So, yeah,
It
isn't
takes
it
place
just like
between-
a prequel to? It's between Saw
Yes.
1 and 2.
Yeah. It's
So really,
between
it should
Saw
be
1
called
and
like
2.
Saw
So, like-
1.5 or something.
so this whole
Yeah,
movie is
but-
about like
Shh.
him trying to get revenge on these like weird doctor people that scammed him out of like some money or something, because they said that they would get rid of his cancer, but then they didn't actually get rid of his cancer. Like, that's the plot of the movie, like, pretty much.
Yeah, it's basically just like, oh, remember that time when like people try to like scam you for money? Well, what if it was Jigsaw and you can actually, torture and kill them and that sort of shit? Like, it's just basically
Did he-
kind of like,
So he basically
Yeah, go
accepted
ahead.
money
Sorry.
from the Nigerian prince email,
Yeah, basically it's
and then
like
he got
it's
mad
if
about it. He
Jigsaw.
got salty.
Yeah, if basically if Jigsaw sent money to the Nigerian prince and he actually did something about it, like he tracked down the quote unquote Nigerian prince, it's like basically the equivalence of that. So, and it's really fucking funny. I just can't stress how like the first 30 minutes you're just like, am I watching some like fucking character drama or some shit where it's just like, oh, I'm dying of cancer and I just like I don't have much time and I'm sad. I'm sad boy. I'm sad time, you know, and they're just like the main doctor lady who's just like, yeah, I have a cure. I can totally cure you.
A
Our
cure to
medical
cancer.
practice is revolutionary. You got a cancer. It's just like it was just like ironically just really funny how hard they were going for a fucking Saw prequel, might I remind you. So like it
That
was
sounds
just
awesome.
and like there's this one scene, this is the only like quote unquote action that happens in the movie until they actually like, you know, make the doctors play the games or whatever. It's the scene where he sees that one like nurse like he was about to steal a watch, and then Jigsaw has this like weird fucking fantasy about like putting like attaching the guy's eyes to like suction tubes or whatever, and he's like, I want to play a game. Like you abused your position of power by stealing money from the helpless and the medically ill. Now you must sacrifice the very hands that you stole from people, otherwise your eyes will get sucked. Like it was just like, what the fuck? Like it was just what's going on here? It was so funny. It was so hilarious the first like 30 minutes. So yeah.
God.
Yeah, so for me,
Oh.
the first 30 minutes were like
But
boring as fuck. And then when it actually like got into like he was like tracking everyone down and like putting them in the traps and stuff, like that's when it got like really fun for me.
that was a lot of fun.
And like the traps in this one were genuinely like really good and like super gnarly. Like, oh my goodness, like the other Saw films
Yeah.
like always made me squeamish and want to look away, but like they were never at the point where like I like genuinely like couldn't look at them anymore. Like I had to cover my eyes and like actually look away and block my vision because of how fucking disgusting they are. And in this film they're like that. Like they don't hold back. I thought all of the traps were fun.
Second trap in particular, I thought was like
Which one?
really squeamish. Like I know we're spoiling the one where they had the guy like cut out a piece of his
that
brain
one,
or whatever.
that one. Oh my goodness.
Ugh.
Yeah, that one in particular was like
Yeah.
really squeamish. I was like, okay,
I
that one.
literally,
I was like,
could not
ugh.
look at that one. I had to stop.
Yeah.
I like, it was too much. And like, I will say, I think these traps were a bit fucking harsh, you know? I like when the Saw traps are like, you can still escape them. When, you know, like there is actually an ability to escape. I like it when that is possible, but in this film it felt almost impossible to escape these traps. Like they were just too much.
Well, to be fair though, that's been like a trope in like the most like
Yeah, I know,
most
I
of the
know,
Saw
I know.
movies at this point. Like I would say like Saw 1 and 2, like you could like reasonably like find a way to like get out of the traps or whatever. Like you'd still have to like cut off a leg or something, you know, but you could still like reasonably find a way to get
This
out.
one's
But
just like,
this one's
no.
just like cut off a part of your leg and then jam a tube inside the wound, or else your head
Yeah.
will be decapitated. Like what? Like so,
And the whole
like,
the whole and,
yeah,
okay, wait,
so-
no, let's not go there. I will say I did, even though I really liked all the traps in this movie, very gnarly, very fun, great production design on them. There was one trap that kind of annoyed me, and it was the one that was like burning the person's face, you know, and they had to like break their like joints to get out of like the handcuffs or whatever.
Oh,
That one was
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
dumb because like she was like, oh wait, what did she do first? Did she do her leg first or did she do her hand first?
I think she did
Yeah,
her leg
which I
first,
think is
right?
really dumb because if she did her hand first, she would have just fallen to the ground and then she wouldn't have to worry about the Bernie thingy, you know?
No, but like, no, but like, keep in mind, like, Jigsaw's basically fucking Jesus, where he can like 40 chess everyone and predict
Yeah.
everyone's moves. So like, if she did her hand first, then she would have been like dangling from up by her foot, and like the radiator thing would have just like moved down to her
Oh,
face
would
from
it?
there.
Okay,
So like,
okay.
it probably was the smarter, yeah. So it probably was the smarter move to do her leg first, so that she wouldn't have
But
to like
also,
deal
I
with
think
that
if
shit.
like she did her hand,
So,
like the force of the fall would have just like, I don't know, made her leg slip out or something. I don't know. I remember watching it and being like, this one is very easily like preventable to not get yourself fucked over. But maybe I didn't interpret it properly. But besides that, like, all the traps were just so much fun to watch. Like, especially like the ending and like the whole twist of the ending was crazy. It was so crazy.
yeah, it was. I yeah, like he fucking knows.
Yeah.
He's like a mind reader. He just knows what's gonna happen. It's like, oh, I knew that the guy who was pretending to be scammed by the doctors was also her
Yeah.
lover, and they were also going to scam their way out of this trap and make
And
them do
I
the
knew,
trap,
like,
and then
the
try and
boy
get them.
would
Like what?
conveniently be playing soccer outside. I mean, I guess he probably like,
Well, he
yeah.
didn't compensate for that. He admitted, he was like, "Oh shit, like I didn't think about this. I didn't think this would happen." Which, by the way, what the fuck was he doing? Like, why was he there in
I
the
don't
first
know.
place? Like, does he not have like parents or a home to go to? Like, what the fuck? Why was he just playing soccer like just in the dead of night, like near this like factory? Like, what?
And when they put Jigsaw
And also,
in
oh my
like
God.
his own trap, but then it turns out it was just a fake trap, so that he could actually trap the other people. That was so good. That was so good. I could not stop laughing.
It was the funniest shit ever. Yeah, exactly. Like that's why like our ratings for this film is like irrelevant to like the overall experience of the movie. It's like you have to like sit there and experience it to truly understand the pure entertainment value of it. Like seeing Jigsaw just fucking predict like everyone's moves by like 3 fucking steps, even though it is like physically impossible to do that. It's just like the funniest shit ever. And then just like other things that like probably wasn't intentional, but like I still couldn't like stop chuckling about it. It's like when they brought back Amanda. Because it's like revealed in the sequels that like Amanda is like was like helping this whole time or whatever, but Amanda just like looks so old in this one. Like they clearly were trying to like copy her haircut from like Saw 2, but she just looks like the Steve Buscemi meme from 30 Rock where it's like a fellow kids. It was like she looked like one of that, and I was like I chuckled to myself every time I saw Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda looked very creepy in this. Like.
Well, yeah, it's just, oh man, and then, oh my god, you know what I'm really, really hoping for, Luca? I really hope that if they make a Saw 11, they make the small child also one of Jigsaw's disciples, and then they reveal in Saw 11 that small child was also helping Jigsaw the whole time in the entire series, just like how like they revealed in like Saw like 4 or 5, I think it was 4, yeah, it was Saw 4 when they revealed that Hoffman was like helping Jigsaw the whole time and he was involved in every single thing that happened before Saw 4. I want them to do that same thing but with the small child. That would be fucking hilarious. I want that, please. If you're gonna make a Saw 11, please make that happen. I want that to be canon so badly. So
that would be great. Well, like I just want them to like. I honestly want them to find an excuse to like bring Tobin Bell back or Jigsaw back alive in one that's not set in the past. Like I don't know how they would do it. But I think that would be extremely funny.
The twin brother thing is still an option. I still don't know why they haven't done the twin brother thing. Like, they just reveal that, like, oh, like, Jigsaw's twin brother was the one who actually died. He just pretended to be John, but his name was actually, like, Scott or something like that, you know?
Yeah,
like, they can just do that,
really
you know?
That would have been, yeah, that could be funny. Or, like, I don't know, or, like, they, like, try find a way to, like, resurrect them or something. Like,
Sure, why not? Yeah.
okay, so I'm
So,
I'm watching this trap again,
yeah.
and yeah, so she does do her leg first, so then she's just hanging there. But like, yeah, I think it would have been way smarter to do the hand first, because then you would have fallen to the ground, and then you could have like used both your limbs to try get the leg out and stuff, and yeah, probably just would have been a lot easier. But yeah,
I mean, you also have to keep in mind the doctor lady told her to do the leg first, so she probably just did whatever she thought was like
yeah,
best
maybe
or
the
something.
doctor
I don't
lady
know.
was
You also
like
have to
kind of
keep
like
in. You have to keep in mind as well. This is
yeah.
a Saw film.
Yeah, like it's not like logic is like the
I
most
just think
important thing
a
they were
part of
they were
the
putting into
fun,
consideration.
for me at
So,
least, watching these films is like trying to picture myself in that situation and if I could be able to survive the trap. I think that's a part of the fun for me. I don't know if anyone else watches it that way. I would probably realistically die in any fucking trap I had to do, but like, you know, it's still fun to watch in the context of the movie and if I was there and what I would do. Like, there's a few traps that I think like
yeah, yeah.
I can maybe outsmart and come out on top of. So yeah, and this was the
And also,
this
like,
was
I
the
really
one trap
appreciate.
in this movie where I thought like I could come out, because the others were just fucking, dude, that eyeball one was crazy. Like, my god, that was
Which
the
one
very
was that
first
again?
one with like the tubes on the eyes, you know? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the guy with the nurse,
Yeah.
his weird fantasy.
My
yeah,
one
yeah.
problem with the
So,
film is like,
Oh, that's not actually a thing in the movie. It's just a fantasy.
yeah,
yeah, it's just like a fantasy. He doesn't
Oh,
actually like
boo.
trap the
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, so but
yeah, that
whatever.
was
That's
my one
lame.
problem with the film is like, they show us like that trap at the very beginning, and then there's like so much bullshit before you
Oh.
get to like the other traps that are pretty much just all in like rapid succession. That was my main problem with the movie. Like, I probably would have rated it higher if there wasn't so much like bullshit. Because yeah, I was
Bullshit,
not a
yeah.
fan of like the random like John Kramer lore, you know? Like, I just wanted to see the traps and the twists and the stuff like that. But like, yeah, they really try sympathize him, which is so weird and silly, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of like when they try to like sympathize like the rapist from like season 3 of like 13 Reasons. It's like the same shit as that. You know, it's like, wait, why are we
Yeah,
sympathizing with
why
like
are we doing
John
this? We
Kramer
already
again?
know
I guess like
that he's. It's like when, yeah, when things try to retroactively make you sympathize for a character that you already know has done shitty things. You know, like, yeah, it's weird.
But I guess like the justification is that this is also gonna probably be like someone's first Saw movie. Like they're probably gonna watch this movie without like having never seen like Saws 1 through whatever number 9. That was it. Yeah. So they probably try to make this like kind of a self-contained thing.
I don't think so.
So
I
they
think
try
they
to like
made this
make like
entirely
Jigsaw
for
like
people that are Saw fans.
I mean, it felt that way, but like also keep in mind, like the people watching this, you know, like just fucking kids who are trying, you know, they probably have never seen any of the Saw movies, so they probably took that into consideration. That's like the whole reason why like Jigsaw and Saw Spiral fucking exist too, because they made those movies for people who have never seen a single Saw movie, but there are like sprinkles of like, you know, Easter eggs and other shit for like people who've seen all the Saw films. You know, they probably just did. I mean, this is more like for fans of Saw than either of those movies, but like it still like kind of had an element of like, oh, in case you've never seen a Saw movie, you know, we're gonna build out quote unquote John Kramer's character.
Well, I think that's the
So,
only reason why they
yeah.
did do that, not because they were thinking about everyone else. Because if you haven't seen a Saw movie before, then you're not gonna know who John Kramer is. But this film expects you to know who he is and like know about him and stuff. Like the film is set
Yeah, I guess
during
so.
the time period between the first and the second. Like it expects you to have seen the first and the second film so you understand the time period. Like, yeah, I think it is entirely
Yeah.
a movie just for the crazy people that have watched them all. Um, but yeah. Fun movie. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it, even
It's
though
so
it's
much
kind of
fun.
trashy.
Yeah, it's
But
like the
yeah,
most like, but
yeah,
that's like the charm of Saw too. Like it's such a trashy, like kind of shitty type movie, you know? Like it's, yeah, like what you said about the traps, like yeah, they're so much fun. They're so queasy. Like that's why like I was excited that Kevin Gruder was like back directing because like yeah, like Saw 6 is like
Saw Six
probably one of
is
the
the
best
best
Saw
one.
movies,
So yeah,
and that no, I like Saw 1 more than Saw
nah,
6 personally. Saw 6 like had some of the best traps though. I'll admit that. Like the merry-go-round like shotgun wheel thing that they had in Saw
Ooh, that's
6,
a good trap.
that was epic. I really loved
dude,
that
Saw
one.
One is just
So
fucking boring.
yeah.
Like, it's just boring.
What are you talking
What?
about?
It is just
Yeah,
so.
honestly, I
There were so
agree.
many fun
Sorry.
traps in that one. Yeah, there were plenty of fun traps in that one. Like the guy who like was stuck in like all the barbed
Nah,
wire and he had to
nah.
like, you know,
The
crawl
only
his
good
way
one
out and stuff like
is the
that. And
bear
then like
trap
Amanda
one in the first one. That's it. Yeah.
with Amanda. Hmm. Yeah, that was good. So
The rest of that movie is a
yeah, and I
snore.
like Dr. Gordon.
The twist is fun, but like when like a lot of people say like, oh, it's the best one, but like, no, no, not for me.
Nah.
I mean, it's not like a perfect movie or anything, you know. Like Lee Winnell like can't act for shit. I love Lee Winnell, but he, I don't know why he was acting in the movie. So you know, like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, just overall, like, yeah, Saw 6 is just like I honestly kind of want to see this again, like in theaters, like on Halloween or something. If it's still in theaters by like Halloween, I might see this again, you know, because it's just so much fun. But yeah, I don't know. Why didn't they release this on Halloween? I know they did it because they
They
wanted
brought
to
it
do this
forward,
fucking
which
Saw
is so
Patrol
dumb.
memes. Well, they wanted to do it for the meme, you know, the Saw Patrol meme or whatever, but like no one fucking did that, so it's like what was the point of this? You know? Like you should have just kept it at Halloween. Oh well, whatever. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah.
weird that it got released in September.
So how would you oh, sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead. Yeah.
I said
So-
I was just gonna say it's weird that it got released in September.
Yeah, I don't know. So, well, yeah, it's just yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm kind of happy that it did though, because then I got to see the movie a
Yeah,
little
true.
early. But I would have preferred to have seen it on like Halloween night or something. Yeah. So, but yeah. So I was gonna ask how so with Saw X, how would you like? Do you have like a ranking of all the Saw films? Like, where does this like stand for you compared to like the rest of the
I
Saw
don't know if I
movies?
could like. I know I made a list, but honestly, like they all kind of just blend together for me. Like, um, but I think this is the second best one. I think this and Saw 6 are the best movies. And 3. I like
Okay.
those are my 3 favorite ones. Saw 3, yeah,
Oh, you liked 3?
it
I
goes
thought
up
3
in
was
3.
boring.
So 3 is good, then 6 is good, and then I guess now 10. But if you minus out Spiral, then 10 is also good. Yeah.
God. You know what I really also, and this is also kind of my fantasy as well. I also hope in Saw 11, other than the other thing that I said about the small child, I want them to bring back Chris Rock's character only for Jigsaw to kill him in a trap in the beginning, like just so he can erase the character from existence. I want that to happen. I want it to be like the same thing as like when Roland Emmerich like made his shitty American Godzilla movie, and then Japan bought the rights to the shitty American Godzilla just so that they can have their Godzilla kick its ass in like in a movie or whatever. I want that to happen, but
Yeah.
with Saw. So
Yeah, that would be funny.
yeah, but
Because, yeah, Spiral was actually so
so-
dreadful. I watched all the Saws, and you did as well, before watching this
Spiral is
Yeah.
is just awful.
one. And, yeah,
it is such a piece of shit. It is a
Jigsaw as
gigantic,
well is-
gargantuan piece of
both
shit.
of those two are absolutely, like, just pure shite. Like, pure... Some of the worst things
Not
I've
even
ever
fun.
seen in my life.
Jigsaw had like at least like a couple fun like because I also agree Jigsaw's an awful fucking movie, but at least it had like one or two traps where I was like, okay, that was like kind of okay. Like I wasn't like none of the traps in Spiral were like good whatsoever. They were all so fucking dumb and all like just terribly shot. Like there were like at least one or two traps in Jigsaw where I was like, okay, like I mean, the whole movie is so stupid and so poorly written, but it was like at least like there were like they at least kind of delivered on the trap somewhat though, you know? Like it's still like a 2 out of 10 movie, but like it wasn't like the worst thing. Like Spiral makes like Jigsaw like this like Citizen Kane in comparison. So
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say are your favorite
But-
ones?
yeah, I mean probably Saw 1, 6, and 10. Those are my top three.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 6 and 10 are just
um,
really good. Like, yeah.
they're so much fun. Yeah. So and I personally like Saw 1. I know you're not a big fan of it, but I like it.
Yeah, no.
Let me see my list because I ranked them a long time ago and I'm trying to remember. Um, yeah, Spiral and Jigsaw are like at the absolute bottom for me of like the worst Saw movies. Yeah, those are like easily like even out of the mainline Saw 7 movies, which for me is Saw 5, like that is like leagues better compared to Jigsaw and Spiral. Like I would sooner rewatch Saw 5 again than rewatch Jigsaw or Spiral. So,
Yeah. Like, I watched Jigsaw. I was watching movies with Tom, and we were like, yeah, we're gonna watch like
mhm.
2 or 3 movies today. We're gonna have a whole day out of it. And then I watched Jigsaw first, and I was like, Tom, I genuinely can't watch any movies. This has absolutely ruined my palate for like the rest of the day. I can't watch anything else. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, it was just, oh, so vile, so vile. Like, even though I know that I don't like Spiral more, like Spiral was just a worse movie. I think like a part of my brain just blocked out bits and pieces of Spiral. Like, there's just moments where I just don't remember that are just like a blur. But I remember everything about Jigsaw, and everything that I remember is the most like absolute dog shit ever. So yeah. Oops.
See, that's the opposite for me. Like I think I remember every single bit of Spiral, and every single bit like pisses me off like to the 100th
Yeah.
degree. Like that movie genuinely makes me angry. But Jigsaw is a movie like I must have like blocked most of it out because I guess like Spiral was just so bad in comparison that I just like I like my standards were pretty low. I must have like blocked out parts of Jigsaw because I can barely remember anything from Jigsaw if I'm being honest. Like other than the really stupid ending,
Yeah.
and like some of the traps, like I can barely remember anything from Jigsaw. So that's why like I don't hate Jigsaw as much as Spiral. So
Yeah.
oh man, but either way, you're missing out, Jules. You're missing out on a really fun movie. So
Oh, I'm gonna see it. I will, but yeah, I
Okay.
just didn't get time.
yeah, well,
I've been too
Yeah.
busy
I
watching
can't believe
good shit.
Yeah, I can't believe I saw this, but I still haven't seen like El Conde or anything like that. So I don't know what that says.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't even finish Talk to Me.
No, but I was
Yeah.
going. I will at some point. I promise. I will finish
Oh, you
it.
still?
And I'll
I
let you
thought you
guys
did
know
finish
anything.
it.
No, I didn't. I still only got to the first 30 minutes. I've just been busy is all. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, we can get into ratings, but we already said our ratings. I
Yeah,
already
honestly,
said
it
mine.
might
5
be
out
a
of
6
10.
for me.
Like,
Like,
but
just
it's like the most.
It's actually kind of a good
Okay,
movie.
yeah.
Like, like, yeah, I liked it. I liked it.
Mhm. Yeah, 5 out of 10. But it's like the most fun 5. It's like a yeah. It's closer to a 6 if that means anything. But it's like the most entertaining like 5 out of 10 movie. You know, because it has all the parts that I liked about some of the later Saw sequels, where it's like this is so dumb and so stupid
Yeah,
that it's funny
exactly.
type thing. Like it had like that. Those were the things that I was missing from Jigsaw and Spiral because they didn't have any of that. They were just taking themselves so fucking seriously. It just wasn't fun. It was like it's not entertaining, you know. So,
Yeah, definitely.
oh, but yeah, well, great. Well, I guess we can also talk about Henry Sugar too, as well. We can talk about all the shorts that Wes Anderson released, but up to you guys.
Yeah.
Um, we can do that real quick. So, I mean, I figured you'd want to talk about them since I know you're Wes's number one fan and everything like
Yeah.
that.
So these
So,
were a collection of short films that should have been one movie, like French Dispatch style, in my opinion. Um, because I don't know, I think it just would have worked. I think it just would have worked very well together. But you know, it's fine. I'm gonna make a fan edit of all of them together, so that's what I'll do. Um, but yeah, it's just a collection of short films based on some Roald Dahl stories from a book that I have right here called the. I always thought it was called The Wonderful World of Henry Sugar, but no, it's not. It's just called
yeah,
The
it's
Wonderful
wonderful
Story
story
of
of Henry
Henry Sugar.
Sugar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so Henry Sugar's like, I'm gonna give some context. Henry Sugar's like the main like big story of the book, but then there's like other bits of short stories. So that's why like the Henry Sugar film was like 40 minutes compared to the others being like 10 minutes or whatever, you know. So all of these shorts are a part. All of those stories that Anderson adapted are a part of this book. It's a book of short stories, and yeah, it was a childhood book for me. I really liked it. Anderson adapts Roald Dahl stuff expertly, and that's why I think it would have worked better as like a big film because it fits the like nature of like having multiple different stories all together like in one book, you know. But whatever. I'm a tad bit disappointed because there are some really great stories in the book that Anderson didn't choose to adapt, but it was probably like a budgetary reason. There's a story that I really
Oh, really?
love
Like
called
what?
The Boy Who Could Talk to Animals, and I was like, oh my god, if he makes this, like, it is going to be the best thing Wes Anderson has ever made, and that was one of the ones that he didn't make, but it's fine. That one would have definitely needs like a fucking studio budget to make up, but it would have, I think it would have had like Life Aquatic stop motion vibes, and that would have been really cool. But that's just in my head canon now.
Yeah, I
But
would
what
have
we
loved to have
got
seen that.
was still very great. I loved all of the shorts, and I thought they were all great. And like, even though I think like they're kind of like lower down in the Wes Anderson catalog, that still doesn't mean they're any less great that they are. I think Jules sent me this like funny meme the other day, and it was like, damn, you'll watch a masterpiece like Life Aquatic and put it at the bottom of the list, and also, and they'll all be bangers or something. Like, I don't know what Jules sent me, but it was something along the lines of like, you'll watch a
Oh yeah.
masterpiece like the Life Aquatic, and then it will go number 10 on the Wes Anderson ranking list or something. Like, that's how it is for me. Like, I love all the films. Yeah, it's always hard like trying to judge which ones I like better and which ones I like more. But yeah, I really like these, even though not being some of my absolute faves. But you know, I mean, anything from that Wes Anderson makes becomes one of my absolute faves. Whether
Well, I was gonna say, do you wanna do them like one at a time, like talk about each one at a time, or do you want to just talk about them as like a
yeah,
collective
we
type
can talk
type
about
experience?
them each one at a time. So yeah, the first
Okay,
one
yeah.
is Henry Sugar, which is the longest one, and yeah, I thought it was really great. What did you guys think?
It was also really great. Well, not
Yeah,
really
it was
great, but
it was
I
great.
liked it.
Yeah, it was great. It was also great for me as well. Yeah.
Yeah, this
Um,
one was probably like the most
yeah.
polished
So
because it
I
was the longest one. It's not my favorite one, but like in terms of like a full like narrative experience, like this one definitely like delivers the most. Like you get a lot of different settings and a lot of different characters and backdrops and stuff. And I have to say that they brought the story
There's a
to
lot of extras as
life
well.
so well. Like this is such I love what they did in like the jungle sections especially. Like that's such an important part of the story, and the way that they brought that to life was like amazing. I loved like that yogi character like in the jungle, and like how how this is pretty much like a play, you
yeah.
know, like Wes Anderson is liking to make mediums in a play, quote unquote, in a film. It's very fun.
Yeah, I liked how
Yeah.
theatrical the short film was, because like I loved how like when they needed to like change the scene or like scenery or something, like when they needed to like, instead of just like cutting to a different location, they just like got some random extras to like bring in a different
Yeah.
panel or whatever, and then just had the characters like pretending like, you know, like the I like when Benedict Cumberbatch is like driving a car or whatever, they just had him sitting in front of like a, you know, like a half
Hmm.
model car, and then like the backdrop is just like a speeding like road behind
Yeah.
him and stuff like that, you know, like it was probably for like a budgetary reason of why they did that too, but it was still like a very like very unique artistic
Yeah.
choice, you know, like to me this stands out from like honestly just like some of Wes Anderson's movies in general. Like I like how, because we also got this in Asteroid City, where I like how
Mm.
theatrical Wes Anderson movies have become, where they're basically just like cinematic plays where we can kind of see, you know, the setting change, we can see like the characters like giving very theatrical-ish performances. Like one of the things that stood out to me about this short and just all the other shorts are the characters are like saying the things from the book, like they're it's a word for word adaptation of the books, I'm
Yeah.
assuming, in the sense that they're not just saying the dialogue, they're saying the things that come before the dialogue. So instead of like Benedict Cumberbatch saying, hey, look at that, he says, hey, look at that, I said, as I looked closely into the thing, the direction I was looking. That I thought that was like a really interesting choice that helped make it stand
Yeah.
out, if that makes
So
sense.
one
So
thing about the film, or another thing about it, is why I thought it would work better if it was all in one big film, is because they all had the same style.
mhm.
They all had this style of like very similar look and feel, and like I said this, blah 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 blah. I said blah 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 blah. I shouted. You know, like that's how they speak in all of the film, all of the shorts. So that's why I think it would have worked if they were all together. Because originally, I'm kind of jumping ahead, and sorry about this, but originally what I didn't really like about the Swan, which was the second one, was I was like, oh, this is the just the exact same style. Like, why are they doing this again if this is supposed to be a different thing? But once the other ones came out, I realized, oh wait, these are all just supposed to fit together. Like I thought each and every one was going to be like an entirely separate adaptation with like separate looks and feels to them, but no, they are very much like trying to go for the same thing. And originally, didn't really connect with the Swan, but like over time and thinking about it, like I actually really loved it, and yeah, I ended up really loving like all of the shorts in this. But we'll get to that when we talk about that one. Um, but yeah, Henry Sugar, I really loved. And yeah, I think the all these like Wes Anderson is constantly bringing in new actors into his films, but they like he always finds the perfect fits. Like he
Yeah.
finds people that he knows are gonna work.
The guy from the IT
Yeah,
crowd.
fucking what's his face?
Yeah, Richard
That's it.
Iote.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Dev Patel as well, like worked really well in these, and Rupert
Hell
Friend.
yeah, yeah,
I
my
want them
boy.
back for like, yeah, I want them back for more Wes Anderson movies. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't see it, but like Dev Patel and Richard Iote, and like in a I hope I'm saying that correctly, by the way. Like is like in more Wes Anderson movies, like that would be awesome. Like even Benedict Cumberbatch like worked very well.
Yeah,
in the shorts that he was
definitely.
in Henry Sugar and Poison. Yeah, and has Ben Kingsley never been
Yeah,
in a
he
Wes Anderson
has.
film? I thought for sure he's been in
He's
one
been in
before. Has
what's it? Moonrise Kingdom, I'm pretty sure.
was he? I don't even remember that.
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of someone else. Yeah, no, he hasn't been in a Wes Anderson film. You're right. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Mm.
yeah, no, he hasn't. Huh, strange.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you got like
So
all these new people, and it definitely fits into like that theatrical vibe that they're all playing like different characters in like these set plays. Like they're all like bouncing between characters. I think. Oh my god, I forgot his name again. Richard Ayoade.
Richard Ayoade.
Plays like
Yeah.
two characters
Richard
in
Ayoade.
Henry Sugar. Like he plays two separate characters, which is very funny.
He plays the
Yeah, he plays the
yogi
yogi and the doctor.
and the
Yeah.
Yeah,
doctor.
Ray
And
Fiennes as well. He's plays.
yeah.
Yeah,
And Ray
they all play
Fiennes,
like
yeah.
multiple characters in the same story and in the different stories, and like yeah, it very much adds to that theatrical vibe. But yeah,
Yeah. I just yeah, it's an overall very just well made short that I at this point I just like I don't know, the idea of Wes Anderson doing more Roald Dahl like stories like really excites me to the point where it's like I would love to see like Wes Anderson's take on some of the more famous ones. Like what if he did like James and the Giant Peach or like Matilda or something like that? I would be very
yeah,
interested to see something like that. Yeah. So fuck, like they should have just got him to do Wonka then, like instead of instead of Paul King. I would have loved to have seen that shit,
What's
you
funny
know?
is that that already
But
looks like it's kind of channeling Wes a little bit.
yeah, I
yeah.
guess so. So
That new Wonka trailer was tragic, though. I did actually end up watching it.
it
Don't
was
even get me.
Yeah,
giga
but we don't have to
crazy.
started.
talk about
Don't
that
get me
now. We
started.
can save the
Yeah,
yeah.
no, we're not going to. Yeah,
Yeah, only
we can
that
talk
I
about that at a
can't
later
believe,
time.
Timmy,
Yeah.
you thought the first one was good.
I guess it was just because because I
Stunted.
didn't, I don't know, I must have had tunnel vision or some shit because I was just like,
Yeah.
because I recently rewatched Paddington 1 and 2 with like some friends of mine, and I was just in this tunnel vision where I was like, oh, like I mean this doesn't look great, but Paddington also didn't look great, so I'm sure it will be good or something. But then I watched the second trailer and I was just like, I don't know what kind of crack I was smoking, but like I wish I had it back because I wouldn't feel such. Watching this one. So, but yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
well, back to Henry Sugar. Yeah, I just yeah it's weird. I don't have much to say about this or any of the other shorts, but it's not because they were like bad or didn't offer any substance. It's just like it's a very like kind of like I don't really know what the best word to describe it is. They're just very
They
it's
were what
they're
they
movies.
were.
Yeah, they were what they were. Yeah, that's a good way to sum it up. They're like they kind of you just need to experience them as they are, and it's there isn't much to say other than they're very enjoyable experiences. Like Henry Sugar, it was a very enjoyable experience. But
Yeah. Maybe it would just be easier to talk about
Yeah.
them as one big piece.
yeah,
Which
I
one
guess
did
so.
you
Yeah, because
guys
it's
like
not like I have
the
much to say about like the
most?
Poison.
Yeah,
Poison for me too.
same.
That was my
I think
favorite.
Poison is like the big one
If I had
that
to,
everyone seems to like the most.
if I had to rank them, I think I'd go Poison, The Ratcatcher, Henry Sugar, and The Swan.
Yeah. I don't know how I would rank them because I kind of just see them as one thing. Like it's hard to like
Yeah.
there's moments about all of
Yeah.
them that are fantastic. Like yeah.
I think for sure Swan is my least favorite. That was the one where I was just like,
Yeah, sure.
okay, this feels most like a gimmick to me. The whole like Wes
Mm.
Anderson-y approach and like them saying the prose and all that stuff. Like that one was the one where I was like, this feels really gimmicky. I'm not connecting with this one.
No, I
Uh, and you could argue like that's what Ratcatcher was too, but I quite liked the Ratcatcher. I liked the little bit of stop motion animation that they had, like when they animated the rat,
Oh yeah.
and then they had like Ray Fiennes like doing the voice for the rat. Like that was cool. I really liked that. It was almost kind of like a monster movie type shit. Like if Wes
I
Anderson
loved
did
how
a monster
creepy that
movie,
one was.
because because like
Yeah,
Ray
it was
Fiennes
really
like plays
good.
this like fucking like weird like he plays this weird hybrid of his hunter character from Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were Rabbit and Peter Pettigrew. It was just like it's just like it's really creepy. So yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Victor Quartermain in live
Yeah. At
action.
first, I didn't really
Yeah.
connect with the Swan, but then I just think the Swan has like the most impactful ending out of all of them, and it's definitely like the most heartfelt of the bunch. Like the rest of them are just very much taking the stories very linear, one for one, like kind of showing them in Wes Anderson style. But like the Swan actually had like a lot of emotional weight to it, and it was just very easy to connect to and like stuff. And yeah, it was just it was. I really enjoyed all of them. Honestly, Henry Sugar might be my least favorite one out of all of them. And even then, like, it's still
Oh
great,
really?
you know? Like, yeah, but yeah, I loved what they did with Poison. I loved the framing and the setting of it all, and like,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, it left to a very fun scenario. And yeah, like Ratcatcher, like my goodness, like it gave me that same like Asteroid City creepiness to it that I really enjoyed. I was like, oh my goodness, like I love Wes getting dark and gritty, and it is very impactful and it works very well. It's like just like a
Mm.
very
Yeah, it's
small
kind of
layer
a
of creepiness to it, but like it reminded me of like that alien scene where he's like walking towards the camera in Asteroid City, and it's
yeah.
like it's this very unique sense of like I guess creepy is like the only word I can really use, but like it's a very unique
That's an
sense, yeah.
appropriate word to use. Yeah.
And yeah, it worked
Yeah.
really well for me.
Hmm.
I love that. I remember like liking the
Hmm.
Ratcatcher when like I was watching it, and then when it like switched to that moment, like especially when like the camera got dark and they were like using like the like circular lighting and like very faint lighting as well. And yeah, the stop motion in that one was great. Like I almost thought it wasn't even stop motion for a bit. Like it just flowed so well. And yeah, that one was great.
Yeah. And it also that one also
Mm.
had like my favorite Ray Fiennes
Yeah, I
performance
didn't
as well,
even
other than like what I
recognize
just said
him,
about
you
his
know?
character. It's just
Like
he just the
Yo, you
way
didn't
he
I
realize it
can
was
didn't
him?
talk.
realize it was him, and then I looked at the cast for it, and I was like, "Oh my
Really?
Mm.
goodness!" Yeah,
Yeah, like I just like the way that Ray Fiennes, like even the way he talked, it was just like ugh,
yeah,
gross, Like yeah, honestly, like this Ratcatcher and Poison in particular made me go, okay, if I wasn't like desperate for like a Wes Anderson horror movie enough already, like these definitely cemented like he could pull off like a horror thriller if he really wanted to. Like, cause like
Mm.
Poison in particular was like the short that like really grabbed my attention. Like that fucking like locked me in from beginning to end. I was interested like
It was
from
so
the very
tense,
start.
so well
Yeah,
done.
because it's really intense. Like they just like it's like what Quentin Tarantino said. It's like tension is like a rubber band. Like keep like stretching it and stretching it until it like snaps or whatever. It's like and I like how I like the fact that it's revealed that like there isn't actually a snake or whatever like poison snake that they call in the
Yeah,
film, and like
the
Benedict
crate.
Cumberbatch is like, are you calling me a liar? And Benedict's like, no, dude, it's not Benedict, Ben Kingsley. He's like, no, dude, relax, man. I was just saying you might have like seen something that wasn't there, and then he just used a racial slur against Ben Kingsley. I was like, whoa,
Yeah, he
dude, what the fuck,
started
you
being
know?
racist out of nowhere.
yeah, it's like the guy kind of saved your life, man. Like Jesus. So, yeah. Um, but but yeah, overall, whatever Wes does next, I really want to see something like this again. Like, I
Yeah.
want to see like a full feature-length version of like something like The Ratcatcher or
Oh
Poison, if
yeah.
that makes sense. So, like, Henry Sugar just felt like it was still great. I really liked Henry Sugar a lot, but it still felt like just more of the same, like Wes Anderson-y stuff that I've already seen before that he's done in other movies. But like Ratcatcher and Poison in particular were like very new experiences that I've never seen from him. I was like, fuck, I want to see more of this shit. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he did some shaky
Mm.
cam in Poison. That caught me by surprise. I was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Wes.
yeah.
Wes is going
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, never before did I think the words shaky cam and Wes Anderson would be in the same sentence.
Yeah.
So,
It's like that one movie where in that one Ozu movie where the camera actually moves. It's like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, this is getting insane.
yeah. So, yeah, good on Wes. I'm glad he made these. Yeah. I really quite
They're
enjoyed
nice.
these a
They were
lot.
fun.
Yeah, so
Got a lot of Wes Anderson this year, and
Yeah,
I could not have been happier.
I was gonna say you must be very satisfied with the amount of
Yeah,
Wes
I am
Wes this year.
feeling good.
So,
Mm.
I got a big spoonful of Wes Anderson, and I ate it all up.
mm. Yeah, like if Wes Anderson, if Asteroid City was like a full course meal, then these shorts are like a
Yeah,
like a little
I
dessert,
almost,
you know,
yeah, they
extra
were.
cake.
A
Yeah,
little
that's a
dessert.
good way
Yeah.
to say it. Because yeah, Asteroid City for me was very much the full course meal. Like, loved it. Favorite movie of the year. Like, and then these were like a little nice like dessert like to get afterwards. Yeah, yeah, I like that analogy.
And then see how they run was like the ass.
God, that was like the fucking
entree that you didn't eat.
Kitty's menu item that like someone else ordered.
Yeah, the kitty's
Yeah.
like cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did these shorts like rank for you in terms of like Wes Anderson's like overall filmography? Like, are some of these shorts better than some of his like feature length films?
The
Some of them
thing-
worse.
it's very
Like, how do they rank
difficult,
for you?
know, like I said, like because I choose to view this as one experience because it's pretty much what it is. Like,
Okay.
sure, like some of the shorts like are better like than some of this, but like that's like sure maybe Poison is better than this movie but like that's kind of like what French Dispatch is as well. Like, oh, the first story in French Dispatch is like amazing, probably better than some of this stuff that he did, but it is a part of the whole experience, and I'm choosing to view this little thing as like a mini series or like a full experience, you know. So I would
Okay,
say
yeah,
as
that's
a
fair.
full
I think that's a fair way to
experience, like,
look at it. Yeah.
yeah, like it's definitely above French Dispatch and Bottle Rocket. But yeah, even though it's like lower down, I still loved it. I still absolutely loved it. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
had a real great time with it.
They're overall really great. I'm glad Wes Anderson did these. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to like rate them individually, or do you want to rate the whole package? How do you want to do this?
I mean, I gave them all an 8.
I mean, I don't rate shorts, so yeah.
Okay.
I just said that I liked them.
Yeah. I guess we'll do that too. So, I mean, I've given all of them ratings on Letterboxd, but frankly, I can't remember what I gave them, so I'll just say I liked all of them
loved all of
overall.
them.
Some of them I liked more than the others. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Swan, TBH, but, you know, that's just me. Yeah.
Yeah. So should we
Cool,
move
so,
on to the other
yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
The main movie, I guess.
The recommendation.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, this will be I think this will be kind of a lengthy one, but who knows? You know, because we're all kind of on different
Don't make it too lengthy.
different
I want to be
opinions.
able to edit this thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, Yeah, so it was my pick. We're all doing Halloween horror movie type shit recommendations, that sort of thing. And I recommended an anime film because I've never done that before, called Belladonna of Sadness. So this is directed by. Hold on, I gotta get the name. This is directed by Ichi Yamamoto, whose work I'm not overall familiar with, but I'm definitely going to be checking out some of his other stuff now that I've seen this. It's 1973 kind of. It's weird, like, cause the impression I had about this film is that there were scary elements in it, and like there were kind of like some creepy, like frightening imagery and stuff like that. But I would say this is less like a horror movie technically, and more like a psychedelic, weird art presentation trip type experience, if that makes sense. But like the overall basic like plot is that there's a French married couple in medieval Europe, France, named
Jean and Jean.
Jean and Jean. I kept mispronouncing them because I'm a stupid American. But basically,
John.
Jean, did I say that correctly? Jean Dielman, not Jean Dielman, but just the Jean. Jean gets raped, gang raped at the night of her wedding, and then she makes a deal with the devil and has sex with the devil, and then slowly she becomes a witch, and other shit happens. It's plot wise, it's really complicated and weird to talk about the movie. It's really kind of like a the plot is there. There is a lot of substance and there's a lot of story to the film, but like the plot is like the least important thing for this film. It's more about sort of like this acid trip artistic experience that you have to go on while like understanding the narrative through like the really great looking anime. Like the animation in this is fucking awesome. I really love how like the look of this film. I really like how for a movie that's like mostly stills, I really like how the film was animated overall. It's just a very unique experience that I've rarely seen in anime just in general, because like this is very unlike most anime films or shows that I've seen. And it's a very kind of like it tells its story not through like dialogue but through through animation and color and things like that. And it's I I've heard very mixed things about the film. People either really really love it or they really really hate it. And but for me, I really really loved it. I definitely see why some people love it, and I thought it was a very unique experience for me. But I don't know how you guys feel.
I did not like this film.
Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of drawn into it a little bit at first. I was liking the experimental kind of art style, and I think that does work for the film, regardless of my problems with its story. But yeah, then some fucking crazy shit happens that where also spoiler discussion, by the way,
Yeah,
where
we're spoiling this. Yeah, go ahead.
Jian was
Yeah.
Jian was raped quite a number of times in this film, um, and then she becomes more powerful basically each time the devil, who is a literal penis, rapes her. And I was like, this is an extremely dated film. But yeah, I'll get into my thoughts in a little bit more in detail. But
Go
yeah.
for it. Do it.
Oh, you want me to do it
Oh
now?
well, let's. Okay, well, Luca, do you want to give your like initial thoughts first
Yeah,
before
I was gonna let
Jules?
you do
Yeah,
your thing, and then I'll do it.
yeah, and then Jules can go in more in depth. Yeah, so
Um, yeah, I am very mixed. I did really like this film. Um, quite a lot actually. But there are so many moments that Jules pointed out that are so unbelievably uncomfortable to watch in a way where it's like, yeah, I am not enjoying this at all. And like I know that's probably a part of the film, but there are other films that like show really fucked up and uncomfortable shit, but like there's a level of appreciation for it, if that makes sense. It's hard to like try describe, but
I mean, appreciation is probably the wrong word.
appreciation is probably the wrong word. But you understand why they are
There's
trying.
there's an ethical line that they do where they're showing it sometimes full on but tastefully.
Yeah, like you understand
Yeah.
why they are showing the things that they are showing, and it has like importance and meaning behind it. And I think that this film does have a lot of very powerful imagery and maybe even subtext, there was just numerous points where I was like, do I really need to be watching this right now? Is this something that I really need to be experiencing, and I am not enjoying experiencing it, and I can't pick up on the reasons for why it's here, so I am just not having a fun time. But yeah, there is great elements to it. The animation weirdly didn't work as well as for me as I thought it would. Like a lot of it is striking.
Really?
But a lot of it is pretty dated in the sense where you can see like they're just moving a camera like across a still image, you know, like that stuff didn't work for me. But when like the animation is like moving, like the hand drawn frames are moving, like it looks impeccable. So it kind of gave me a bit of a weird vibe in that regard. But yeah, like obviously it is kind of like a weird feminist movie, so I'll always appreciate it in that regard. It is directed by a guy though, so I don't know what the intentions were, but you know. But yeah,
I mean, you can make a feminist film directed by a man.
Of course you can. But yeah, I just don't know about the behind the scenes, or I haven't really watched any videos or anything about like
I need to research more
the
about it,
director's
probably.
intentions.
Yeah, there's a lot you could.
So yeah.
Yeah, I should have done research for that too, but I know for sure. So the reason why, so this film was like basically made for like $5 because this is technically the third. This is I'm like not even that exaggerating that much, because like this is apparently the third film of like a trilogy that Yamamoto made, where like the first two films, they're called fucking what's it called, 1001 Nights and Cleopatra the something of sex, Queen of Sex, that was it. Yeah. And apparently those movies were such big fucking flops that his animation studio basically was on the verge of bankruptcy, so they had to like cut a lot of corners and like make a lot of like cheap moves so that to get this final film made and stuff like that. I mean, in the end, I think it was for the benefit of the film, because like the way they went about making the overall film allows it to have this distinctive look, at least for me, because like I thought like it's strange, like for a film that's considered an anime, this felt more reminiscent to me of something like Fantastic Planet than like any traditional anime that I've ever seen. Yeah. Like, it was very Fantastic Planet.
It's funny because I think that actually came out in the same year.
Oh, really? What a coincidence.
Yeah, it was 1973.
Yeah, but on the topic of, like, the subject matter and, like, you know, like, I don't think this was as bad as, like, Super, where they just, like, had Elliot Page rape, like, Dwight from The Office for, like, no fucking reason. I don't think this is as bad as that.
There is a lot of...
I think there is actual...
like, subtext and stuff to get in there.
There's no reason to that scene from Super, but there is like I can see that there is like there is an attempted meaning behind it.
Yeah. And that's why like I would never like look down on anyone who like disliked the movie for, you know, for the rape scenes essentially, because like the first rape scene, I could like I can see like the meaning both artistically and like plot wise why that happened, because you know it allows her to become more susceptible to the devil and like his temptations and all that other stuff. And I liked the design of the devil himself. I liked that they made him a penis. Basically. Yeah, I liked the fact that they shaped him like a penis. I thought that was kind of amusing to me. And yeah, the whole
I liked
I think
the devil was shaped like a penis because it's kind of suggesting that like she has this like memory of being raped essentially by the devil, you know, like that's what the association is like.
Yeah, she literally got fucked by the devil, both like literally and
Well, yeah, like
metaphorically.
I like my
But I
kind of
like,
interpretation of the film is that she was raped in the beginning, very realistically,
Mhm.
and the
Yeah,
rest of it is kind of like her dealing with like this inner demons and trauma of the experience that she had, and that's why you probably experience so many different scenes like that in the movie, because it is this constant like trauma, it is this demon living and surrounding her, um, and that's something that I really appreciated. I really love the themes of
yeah.
how they portrayed witchcraft in like whatever fucking time frame this is supposed to be in. Or it's not even, yeah, it's like some random world.
Like
Before
medieval
the
Europe or
French
something like
Revolution.
that.
I love
Yeah,
the
so
commentary on like witchcraft and how they like explored that. I love like witchy stuff. So and yeah, this film explored that very interestingly. Um, my main problem was just how the contrast between the two first rape scenes, because the first one is presented in a very harrowing, disgusting, heartbreaking way, and the second one kind of feels almost playful,
yeah.
which I really didn't like. I really didn't like that, and I know that there is a lot of powerful things that the film is saying, but I didn't really like the intentions behind the second scene. And I know it was supposed to be the devil, and the devil's like this trickster and weird stuff, but yeah, that was kind of a big turn off for me, was that second scene. But yeah, his design is really, it's interesting, and it has a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, it
interesting
has
is
a
the
lot
right word.
of
And yeah, very interesting.
weight behind it, and yeah, I do think this film has a lot going for it, and I just wish it just felt like it all was stringed together a bit better, because a lot of it just feels like it's random nonsense to me, just random visual spectacle. And
I wouldn't say that. I don't think it's random
I feel like there
nonsense.
is a lot of the
Sorry,
film
go
that
ahead, finish your thought.
is,
It's extremely
yeah,
loose,
like it
but
is
there
very
is a
loose. That's a good way
somewhat of
to
a story.
describe it. Like there's a lot of stuff where like I don't really understand why they're showing this random animated thing, these random creatures or random things on screen. It kind of reminded me of like Ralph Bakshi in that regard, where like he's trying to tell a story,
Yeah,
but
this
there's
also
a whole
felt
bunch of random bullshit happening on
also
the
felt something
screen,
like that.
you know, like, but yeah, overall, I
Is
really
there any
appreciated this
is there
movie.
any in particular that you can point to for like for reference
I
though that you
think
thought was
like
like what's
during
the point?
the middle,
Jesus.
there's just a montage that I was just struggling to understand what its purpose was or what its meaning was.
Well, like the montage of like random shit, like a giraffe like coming out of like that one
like
dude's like penis and all this other. That was awesome. I
Yeah.
really loved that. That was that was both hilarious, but also like I was really loving things like that. I loved how the film doesn't tell you how insane and how bonkers this whole situation is. It shows you it. It shows you with all of these like weird imagery and like quick cuts and montage of like random things like that shouldn't be in the movie because it takes place in medieval Europe, but like they show like modern like singers and like roller skates and all this other shit. Like it's just so weird and goofy, but it really like adds to the experience. You know, it adds to like the trippy acid trip experience of the movie.
it's definitely
You know
a
what I
very
mean? You know, like
experience like vibes experimentalist esque movie, and yeah, like I understand that, but I just wish like it was a bit more focused, I guess, in what it was trying to say, because it is touching on like some very impactful and genuine themes, you know. So yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, overall, I really did appreciate it, and I did like it, quite a lot. But yeah, there was just a lot of stuff that helped me back from truly loving it, because I don't even think I minded like a lot of this random visual stuff either. It's just like parts of the animation I didn't really connect to, and like obviously a lot of it is just very uncomfortable to watch for me in a way where I was like, yeah, I'm not really vibing with some of this. But yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jules, you wanted to go in depth into something. Yeah, please go ahead, please. I'd love to hear
Oh
your
yeah,
thoughts.
yeah,
So.
yeah. So the thing for me that's really holding this film back for me is like I can understand like what these directors or what the filmmakers are going for about how this woman basically uses this horrible thing that's happened to her to kind of strengthen herself. She channels that negative energy into getting revenge, basically, through witchcraft, because she's so vulnerable. She makes a deal with the devil. But I really don't think, because I think the best way that this film can be described in like the rape scenes is excessive. Like, it's extremely, extremely excessive. There's like multiple scenes of her basically getting fucked against her will by the devil.
Yeah.
One of which the devil basically rams into her vagina like a meteor or like a cannon, basically, by the way, which is I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
I don't know how to feel about that. But to me, it kind of feels a bit too excessive in ways that I can't justify. Like, I was thinking today of, after I watched it, of stuff like Gaspar Noé's Irreversible is like a good example, where showing such a horrible event, like so plainly, like for what it is, it wouldn't work what Gaspar Noé is trying to say in that film if he didn't show the event, if he just did it off screen. And that's the thing I was really wondering, is like, what are you trying to say here beyond, you're just showing me something, which, I mean, is the point of film, but anyway, what I'm trying to say is that it's excessive, but there's no reason for it that I can see. There's no reason why she should get fucked over and over again. There are better ways to show that she's channeling this negative energy towards the greedy king or whatever his thing was, other than her just getting fucked against her will over and over and over again, and the devil penis guy saying stuff like, I forget the line, but he said something along the lines of like, you're mine and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but when I heard like some of the dialogue that the devil said to her while she was fucking, he was raping and fucking her. It was the second encounter in particular where she was like, "You can have my heart, but you won't have my soul," or whatever. And he was like, "Oh, playing hard to get." I was like, "This feels like it's ripped straight out of a hentai." Like that was the moment where I was like, this is some weird hentai shit, where I was just like, what are they... That was the moment where I will agree with you, where I was like, I don't know what the fuck they're going for this moment, where it's like, what is going on? You know, and it's like...
And with scenes like that, just like how excessive, for seemingly just no reason it is, it almost comes across that the point that they're trying to make is that the rape was good for her. Like, that this was it was a positive thing. Like...
I wouldn't go that
which
far.
I know
I don't
it's
think
not.
I don't think that's what they're saying at all. Yeah,
I know they're not saying that, but that's the thing that's coming across to me. Just like in the same way that like Sia's music is meant to be like a film about like autistic people are nice, but it kind of ends up looking like an anti-autistic movie.
If you want to be friends with autistic people, you should just sit on them and just until they stop wailing around. Apparently, so if
you want to get revenge on the people that raped you, just let yourself get raped over and over and over again. It's a positive thing. You'll get some cool energy from it. Like, no, I did not.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
I know, you go ahead.
Yeah.
I pretty much finished.
Okay, I totally understand where you're coming from with yeah, where you're coming from with that, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. But for me, I the one thing that I do want to disagree on is the whole it's excessive, but there's like no point to it. I think the film is very, very full of substance, which I know is not what you're saying, but like for me, I got a lot out of this film, not just from its like the whole trippy experience, but also like a lot of the deep thematic elements of the film as well. Like I really loved what this film had to say about things like sex positivity, sexual liberation, just like feminism in general. Like, because I loved how like the villains of this movie, like the bad guys, are just are not only just like represent like the worst things about the patriarchy, but they also represent sexual repression and like the authoritarian like way of like controlling people. It's like, oh, we got to control them through God, we got to control them through religion, and we got to control them by like preventing them from having sex and blah 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 blah. And you can even see that through the way they're presented. Like they're like
It's
covered
like in
in like
Southlanders.
clothes. Yeah, like like Southland Tale.
You
Yeah,
need to
they're like
ban
covered in
teen horniness.
yeah, they got a bad teen horniness. Yeah, they're like covered in like heavy clothes. They're like pretty much most of their bodies like covered with like some kind of fabric. Like there's one guy who has a literal cross like hanging over his head. You don't even see like the main king bad guy's like face. Like it's like covered in this like weird fucking like bone mask thing or whatever. And it's like the complete opposite with Jeanne, the main character, who she starts out as kind of like that. She's like a purified quote unquote figure that's like covered in like white, like clothing and stuff like that. But then as she like succumbs to her temptations and like succumbs to like the power of the devil and becomes a witch, like she starts like removing less clothing and like she just at some point she just like doesn't wear clothes at all, but like that's like
Yeah,
the charm
she's
of her power, I
sexualized.
guess, as a witch. Yeah, she's sexualized. She's like a pro sexual liberty type figure, and it kind of comes to the point where she even kind of becomes like a for a movie where the bad guys accuse the witch of being like the literal antichrist. She's kind of a Christ figure herself, because once the Black Plague montage happened, which by the way, that was awesome. I really, really loved how that scene was animated. Like lots of like
That was
black
pretty cool.
flooding,
Yeah.
like sloshing, and like skeletons like evaporating and shit like that. But like the way that she kind of like serves as this like symbol, like this like messiah like figure for the villagers, because the rich, the nobles, the elite, they don't give a fuck about the peasants. They're just letting them to die, and they're kind of like holding on to their own. And so they come to her for guidance, for wisdom, for medicine, for powers, blah 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 blah, that sort of stuff, to the point where like some of the nobles are now coming to her for help for all this other shit. And she essentially, dies the same way that Christ
Yeah.
does, like on the cross. I mean, he didn't like get burned to death or anything, but like it's kind of a similar thing. But it still like proves her point, where even though she dies, her message and her spirit lives on through the characters, specifically the female villagers. That's why like all their faces like slowly morphed into the face of Jeanne, if that makes sense. And that's why like they weirdly ended on a painting of the French Revolution. They essentially just
She
ended
inspired
with
it.
the woman. Yeah, they inspired her, and they ended on the woman from the French Revolution painting. They were like, women, great, am I right? And that's basically how they ended it. The ending was kind of stupid, but like
I like the
the
ending.
overall journey, yeah, the overall journey was just really, really just like lots of purpose and like very well presented and very well animated. I will agree. I think the way they went about this are dated. Like there are dated elements about this film for sure. There are things where I'm like, I don't know about this. Like I don't know why you chose this specifically. Like I get the whole like she's being tempted by the devil to the point where she's allowing him to like, well, no, she didn't allow him. It was against her will to get fucked by the devil. I understand like the overall point of that, but I do agree with you, Jules, where I was just like, they could have gone about this in a totally different way and communicated the same point. So that's why I don't think this is like a perfect movie by any means. But I think there's a lot of like really great purpose and a lot of substance that like is just really well executed by the animation. So, but anyway, that's my spiel.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I agree with. I
yeah.
think the subtext
Mm.
is extremely well communicated through the animation. I just think the journey is a bit scattered and just
Yeah,
incomprehensible for me
extremely
a
scary.
bit. Because like yeah, everything it's going
I
for
think
is great. Like
to this.
yeah, like yeah, it's just an uncomfortable and kind of all over the place movie in a way that that I didn't connect to, you know, like yeah, or fully
Mm.
at least, because there is a lot
Yeah, I
that
mean,
I
to
like.
this film's, as much as I don't like this film, to its credit, I think the way it's told basically through watercolor stills is a much better, more restrained way than if it was just animated like a traditional animated film or anime film. Because I think then the excessiveness would be like much more turned up to more extreme than it already is. But to show it through like a series of stills kind of
Yeah.
lessens it slightly.
See, I kind of liked that though. I liked how
Oh yeah,
everything
yeah,
was
I
presented
like.
through stills. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
liked it. I
you
liked it
liked
as
that.
well. It was.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes it was like a bit like, okay, I wish you were just showing things to me, because the animation when they actually animated it, it looked good. That one frame or that one bit where I think very early in the film where John like runs his fingers through Jan's hair. That looked really smooth and looked really nice.
Yeah. The actual like movement of animation was really nice, but as much as I would have loved to see more movement from the animation, I would not have given anything about this film up for just more of that because I like how different this is. Like I could never see this as like a traditional like anime. You know, this already is so unlike most anime that I've ever seen. Like the only like comparison I guess I would make to like modern anime to this would be like maybe like a Masaki Yuasa film because I've already referenced him before in like a previous episode, but like the way this film is presented is very similar to Masaki Yuasa's Mind Game, which based on the number of times I've referenced it, I will be recommending it at some point. But like it Mind Game is very similar to this, where it's like the actual like plot itself does not matter. The journey of experiencing this acid trip, that's the most important thing. I like Mind Game more than this, by the way, but it's like it felt like a similar type experience, like it even kind of like was like Climax a little bit too, where it's like the plot of things don't really matter. It's just like the whole like you're going insane as much as the rest of the characters are through like the watercolors and through like the acid trip, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, yeah, it's yeah, but yeah, ultimately, yeah, I would totally understand if someone really was like turned off by this film. Like I totally,
Yeah.
I totally get your perspective on this, Jules. Yeah, so, like,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
the thing is, I do see like where this film is coming from. Like, I understand like everything that you're saying. Like, I can see that like plain as day. But like in my mind, like it doesn't matter. Like if you're making a film for like noble reasons, like you have like a message that like I would totally agree with in a way to a certain extent. But like in execution, it doesn't matter. Like you still made a film that I consider like really excessive and like kind of disgusting. Like it it's all about execution. Like at the end of the
yeah,
day, you can be the most like feminist film ever, but still make like a almost an anti-woman film.
yeah, because a common criticism that I heard about this film was that like for a film that's trying to be a feminist piece, like it's like very I don't want to say like incel-y, but it's like it like definitely kind of appeals to like the male gaze type thing, if that makes sense. Which I would not disagree with. I think there are elements where you could
Yeah,
argue that, but yeah, I don't to
I
say that
totally
it's
agree
like
with
a
that.
yeah, to say that's like an anti-feminist movie, that I think that's a step too far. I still think there are a lot of like pro-feminist like ideals about the movie. Now, whether or not they're well executed, again, that's the
Yeah,
course of
that's
debate.
the
But
whole thing about it.
yeah. So, but yeah. Overall, I just like. Yeah, I honestly, this film kind of made me want to rewatch Fantastic Planet
Fucking
because I
stingray.
got so much Fantastic Planet-y vibes from the film. I was like, damn, I gotta give Fantastic Planet another rewatch. Yeah, another rewatch at some point. So, but yeah, yeah. But overall, yeah. Do you guys have anything else you want to add to the discussion? I've pretty much said everything I've wanted to say about the movie. So,
Yeah, same.
I think I hit all the bases that I wanted to say
It
about it.
feels like a movie I'm gonna like more
would you guys?
the more I watch it, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Would you? I personally would love to watch this again, but like, I'm curious if you guys would be like if you would be interested in rewatching this at some point. Now, obviously not on the podcast,
Nah,
but just like in general.
I don't
No,
know.
okay, yeah,
no,
Like,
I don't think I'll ever
watching it
watch
made
this
me
again.
feel very queasy and uncomfortable, and like in the moment
Yeah,
I was not enjoying myself, but
very
like
unpleasant.
thinking about the stuff that it had to offer, like really made me appreciate it. Yeah, maybe if I know a bit more of what it is, I'll like it. But I mean, I did like it. Yeah, I did like it, but I'm very torn. I
yeah,
don't think I've ever felt so torn on how to rate or feel about a movie until this one, honestly. Like, I don't think I've ever felt this much of a mismatch of emotions for a film unlike this one. And in a way that is interesting about the film and its existence. And yeah, I think it approaches feminist liberation in a very interesting way, especially for the 70s or whatever when this came out. Like, yeah,
yeah,
um, it's a very interesting movie. A weird piece of history, but one that I still think belongs there. Um, and yeah, yeah. I liked it. I did like the film.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did not. I did not like it.
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah. Yeah, I quite love this film. Yeah, I would never call this like one of my favorite anime movies or anything, but I did love this enough that I would be very interested to rewatch it. So, but yeah, that's just me. I guess we can get into ratings then. Giving this one an 8 out of 10. It's great. Really love it.
I'll probably give it a 3 out of 10. 4 if
A
I'm
3,
feeling
wow.
generous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I just really did not like it.
I think I'd give it a. I'm trying to rate this thing's wild in my mind. I think overall I did like it more than the negative experiences I had with it, so I would give it like a 6. I'd have to see if that goes up in the future, but yeah, like there is more. There, like even like a lot, like when looking at a film, you still do have to think of its intentions and what both of you guys said. Like Jules said, like it doesn't matter if the intentions are fantastic, it's also about the execution. But I still think the intentions do matter, and it's not like this film's execution for me was all bad. So I'm kind of in like a mismatch. I think the film had a very lot of potent imagery, especially how it used. I don't really know how to describe this in a way where like it sounds respectful or genuine, but the way the film uses red is phenomenal, is truly immaculate.
Yeah.
It uses it in a very potent and important way. Very much love that. But there is also a lot of it that I was a bit scattered, maybe a bit confused on, and there were moments that made me uncomfortable. So yeah, I think right now I guess a 6, but also like that doesn't even mean anything. Like yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Saw. It's like our Saw discussion. It's like our rating does means literally nothing. It's just like our
Yeah.
overall feelings that we can say in words. Like that's the thing that people should take away. So like, but thank you for bringing up the color thing. I completely forgot about that. Like the use of color, just you mentioned red, but just like color in general is just like
Color
very
in general is
beautiful. Like
beautiful.
I thought the
Yeah.
use of green and black was yeah. The use of color, like
Hmm.
yeah, it felt this also reminded me of like the Tale of Princess
Mm.
Kaguya a little bit as well, like
Yeah.
the Studio Ghibli film, like the way it's animated at least, not in terms of like content or tone or anything like that. So stylistically very
Where
similar.
would you think
So,
this stacks up
but
compared to the other anime movies you recommended?
where does this stack up for you guys? I'm more curious about that.
The worst one.
Yeah, I guess that's no surprise.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's weird. I feel like I probably like the Shinkai movies more, but I feel like this film is definitely saying way more important stuff than those movies, and like as like a legacy
Yeah, exactly.
and
That was
like just the nature of it. Like I think as an like a pleasant, nice watching experience, I like those other films more, like the Shinkai movies, just a bit more than this. But like in terms of like the actual expression of art and saying something, like this film is definitely better in that regard. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was the problem I had because I after I watched the film and rated it on Letterboxd, I added it to my ranked list on of all the movies we recommended, and that was the issue
Mm.
that I was kind of facing because I legitimately could not figure out if I should rate this higher or lower than the Shinkai movies that I recommended, Your Name and Weathering with You, because I totally agree. Like entertainment value wise, I would sooner rewatch
Mm.
the Shinkai movies over this, but as you said, like this has more of I don't want to even say it has more artistic merit than Your Name and Weathering with You because I feel like those have a lot of artistic merit as well, but they're just going for different things. I think it's not fair. It's really not fair to compare them,
They
because
are
I
very
I
different.
did
I mean,
quite
and
like
this is a
Belladonna of
bloody
Sadness as
70s
well.
movie. It's barely even an anime.
Yeah.
It's only an anime for the fact that it was made in Japan. Like that's it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, you could argue that's just all animation in
Yeah,
Japan. It's just
exactly.
it was made
Yeah.
in Japan, so
It's
it's
just
anime.
animation in general. Family
Yeah,
Guy is an
so
anime.
yeah, technically,
But
yeah.
you know, like when you
Yeah,
So
it
think of
is.
anime,
yeah.
And The Last Airbender. That's an anime.
when you think
Oh,
of
fuck
anime,
off.
like you think of specific art
Yeah.
style,
Now it's too
tropes,
far.
and blah 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 blah. And this film doesn't really have like any similarities to any other anime. It's just like it was made in Japan, so I guess it counts. But yeah, like that's just the the furthest it goes in that regard. But yeah,
Yeah, I, I have Belladonna of Sadness ranked higher than Your Name and Weathering with You, but in all honesty, I don't. I might change it. I don't know. I really don't. Like they're all like kind of on the same level, but for completely different reasons. I really just don't know. I, I'd
yeah,
have to
they're all
think about
quite
this a little
different.
more. So yeah, I still think all of the Satoshi Kon films that we've talked about are better than this
Oh
film.
yeah,
Like I like
they
Tokyo
clear this
Godfathers
film
and
easily.
Paprika and yeah. So, but
Perfect
yeah,
Blue
so
is much better than this.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I
Perfect
think
Blue is like 100 times better.
they
than this.
kind of
Yeah,
kind of go for similar things, and obviously like the female perspective,
yeah, and I think
rape kind of regard, but yeah,
yeah, I
And
just
Perfect
think
Blue
that
does
like
it much
Perfect
better.
Blue, yeah, Perfect Blue does it not only much better, but I think it's just more.
it's more focused.
I don't
It's
even
more
want to use the word
focused.
tasteful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more focused. Yeah, because like rape isn't tasteful. Like it's the opposite of that. But like it has like more. Yeah, it's like you said, it's more focused and it communicates what it wants to do in a much
But
better
again,
way than
obviously,
this
like
film,
this
if that
film is
makes
also
sense.
trying to be a trippy thing, and it's also trying to comment on a different time frame, and it's also trying to be a different thing. So in the end, it was dumb of us to even like try put them up against each other. But whatevs. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just
Mm,
I was just really
yeah.
insecure about
Yeah.
myself because I am the
Yeah,
anime
you are
man
the
on this
anime.
podcast, so I guess
You
like
have to like the anime. You have to.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Hmm. So is this the most divided we've been on for a movie, or have we been more divisive on something else? I'm blanking, but I feel like this is the most
I guess
divisive
between
we've been on
Yeah.
all
something, right?
three of
It's
us.
been like
Yeah.
it's 3 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10. It's like
Yeah, like they're
it's
very
probably as
different
divisive as
scores.
we can get.
I think there's
Yeah.
definitely been discussions where like
Wasn't Pirates of the Caribbean our most divisive episode though? Before
No,
yeah,
this,
because
I
both
guess.
of you
like
loved it, and I thought it
on
was just
average,
mid.
like
So
there's been discussions
Yeah,
where
true.
like both of us are like very for one thing, and like the third one is like kind of on it. But this is like one where we all have like a very different like pinpoint of
Different.
how we like it.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like Jules didn't like it, I loved it, and then you're kind of in the middle. So yeah.
Shit, mid, peak.
I don't think it's mid though.
Yeah,
I
we
think
really
it's definitely
we
more
really
than mid.
hit all the
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
yeah.
mid is
also
not.
agree.
The word mid means like you think it's
I know,
in the
but
middle,
when
basically.
I think of the word mid, I think it is probably like I think of the most boring ass shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's
I
because
also
the word
agree.
the
Yeah.
word means something different now
Well,
in this
I mean
in
that's
this
what it
age.
means. If something's
Yeah.
mid, it means it's boring and it's like it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it's in the middle. If
Yeah.
you're right now on screen, it doesn't
Yes, it
mean
does.
it's in the middle. It has its own meaning. It means
Mid.
No, mid. The word today means boring as shit, average.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna remember this
Like,
type
wh-
thing.
when
And this is
no
the,
one-
this
no
is the
one
opposite
says,
of that.
like,
Like whether or not
"Oh,
you,
I've got an egg, an avo, and then an egg. Oh, the avo's mid. No one says it in that context. You'll be like, oh, the avo is in the middle of the two eggs. But now, if you just say the abbreviation mid, like just mid by itself, it has its own meaning. It is specifically refers to
Yeah.
something being average, being plain, being like I don't know, boring, mid,
Yeah.
you know, like when
yeah,
But
and this
average is
isn't
not
that,
bad
like-
though. Average is like a step above between bad and good.
I would say being mid is being worse.
It's
than
in the
being
middle.
bad, because being bad, at least like when I watch something
Oh yeah,
bad,
I mean,
can at least
being
like
mid is
I
still
can at least
like
yeah, when something is bad, I can at least like have an emotional reaction to it, whether it's anger or like laughter. But when something is mid,
yeah,
I just
like, when
have no
someone says
reaction to
something
it.
is
I'm
mid,
and I'm
like,
gonna
it's-
forget
like, it's
about
like
it in like
snore.
a
It's like
day.
you just forget about it. Like, oh, it's mid. It's like, yeah, whatever, you know. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, like, and this is like however you feel about this, whether you love it or hate it, like it is not a mid film. Like you are going to get something out of this, and you are going to
yeah.
have a reaction.
It's
to
a
it, and
it's a memorable film. I'll give it that. Like this isn't a film that I'm gonna forget.
yeah, just for the worst reasons. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad we had this discussion. This is one of the. I think this was a very substanceful discussion. I'm glad we got to talk about this, and I'm glad I finally got to check mark this out of my anime movies I need to see list. So I got one down. So
Mm-hmm. In a way, it was the
Oh.
most horrifying thing
bet.
we could have watched this month, so I guess it counts.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it truly
Well,
does live up to being a horror
we'll see with
movie.
my
Yeah,
one.
I mean,
'cause-
we've been recording
yeah,
for ages.
so-
Like, should we just go to Jules's recommendation? Like, we don't even really have questions.
Do we
I
have
guess
any? Do we
so.
even have any questions?
we don't have any questions, but I remember we didn't answer one of Matthias's questions. It was something about fucking. Is it ever justified to watch something in two times? Here was it. It was. I don't think if we. I don't know. I don't remember if we answered this,
I
but
think we did
his
answer
other
that.
question was: Is
No.
did we answer this? Is watching a movie?
Oh, maybe I answered it when I went on Nefarious Reels.
No, you answered the how would you describe a hypothetical where your favorite movie is directed by your least favorite
Oh
filmmaker?
yeah.
You answered that, and we all answered that because we thought that was an interesting question. But he also asked another question that we didn't answer, I think, which is watching a movie at a faster playback speed ever justified? And I don't remember if we ever answered this question, did we? Or
Yeah, I don't think we did. So we can do it quickly.
okay, well, I guess we can just answer that real quick before we move on to Jules's
Um,
recommendation.
yeah.
So the
Only
answer is
sometimes,
yes,
I think.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean not
Only
every
in
time. Like you shouldn't.
extremely
I don't
rare
know.
cases.
I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Because like I feel like you have to get, even if a movie is still kind of like ass, you still have to give it the time of day.
But some movies are just like
I don't think it's justifiable.
you should never
honestly.
give
I
this
don't
the
think
time.
it's
Like,
justifiable.
but even, but what if it's something like
Yeah.
like
Actually, yeah, you know
If
what?
it's
I
something
agree with you,
that's
Luca.
boring and shit, then just
No,
turn it
but,
off
like-
if you don't like it.
Just to turn it off, yeah.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, because I was thinking about something like Going Overboard or like
It's
Jack
either
and
commit
Jill,
or
where it's
don't. Like pick a side.
If someone made a movie
You're
and-
kind of cornered.
and they gave you this movie and they were like, I made this movie, I put all this effort, I put all this time into it, and they wanted you to experience the movie, and you altered the experience that they wanted you to have, then like you're kind of just ruining it, you know? Like,
Well, that's a very
Yeah.
specific
Well,
like example.
That's why
though.
upgrading
I mean,
movies to
that's what-
60
like, that's just
FPS
what-
sucks.
like,
You should
imagine
not
if,
do
like,
that.
Imagine if someone told you, damn, the new fucking Scorsese's movie is fucking boring. I decided to put it in 2x speed.
3
Like, you
hours,
would,
yeah.
Like, you would, like, go on a rampage. You'd be like, what the fuck? You're not experiencing the movie genuinely and properly for what it is.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
But like I feel like it's really dependent on like how someone like if someone wants to if something is truly that boring and that unengaging, like not necessarily a Scorsese movie, just any movie in general, but like I guess like I could see what you mean where it's like well then
if
just
you
shut it off,
truly
just
think
don't watch the
it's
rest of
that
the movie.
boring
I guess
that you
that's
can't finish it, that you need to put 2x speed, then just don't watch it. If you're going
Shut
to
it off
the
at that point, yeah.
where you need to
Yeah.
speed up the movie to finish it because it's a waste of your time, then you might as well not watch it.
It's not
Yeah,
working
might
for
as
you
well not
to begin
watch
with.
it because
I guess
it's
I'm
a
just, like,
waste of your
speaking
time.
from-
like, yeah.
I guess I'm just like speaking from our perspective where it's like we have to finish the recommendation no matter what. Like
Yeah,
when
in
I
that
remember we were
regard,
talking
then-
about
then
Bone
I-
Alone,
then I
I like
understand.
said out
Yeah.
loud, yeah.
If like if it's
Yeah,
your-
I was like, I can't sit through the
Yeah.
rest of this shit. Like, yeah, so
But I mean, even then, like I watched Southland Tales in blocks because like it was just so unbearable. I was like, okay, I'll just
yeah, like
finish it
if
tomorrow.
it's in like a case for us where like our whole point is that we are supposed to talk about this movie,
We have to finish it.
Like, but even then, like you should say that that's what you did because you didn't actually experience the movie in its like proper form. Yeah.
In its intended form.
yeah, that I agree with. Yeah, but like but there are some movies though, like that are just so deserving of that. Like Bone Alone is like, I don't want to stop mentioning it because it literally is like a prime example of like this is a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, like in
And
any other
If-
world, I
if
wouldn't
I
have
was-
watched,
if I-
watched that movie, so it wouldn't need me to put 2x speed on
Yeah.
it. You know?
Well, you're welcome.
I think. Oh, also, like if you're like editing
Yeah.
something, obviously that's okay if you are watching it in 2x speed. Like you're trying to find like a clip or a segment, but like, yeah, like.
Oh, yeah, I do
to,
that
like,
all the
speed
time
things
when
up,
I'm editing
But obviously,
movie
you're
clips
not
together.
like watching the movie for the same reason in that regard. Like when like
Yeah,
if
that
you are
makes
going
sense.
into a movie for the first time and you are trying to have like you're like a person that made this movie, you got to think about them as well and the experience you want to have. They're not going to want you to watch the fucking movie in 2x speed. That would be so disgraceful to them, like.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, so I guess again, I was just speaking from our perspective, like as content creators who have to watch shit and then talk about it.
Oh
So,
god, don't ever say that.
yeah, I cringed when I said that as well, but it's the truth. I just had to say it. So.
As influencers.
As Zoomers, yeah.
But yeah.
So, yeah, but I think like it's still a
We are not a
prevalent
Zoomer.
question though.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I am.
Jules, well, how old do you think?
You know.
Yes, I am. We've had
We
this
literally
conversation
have, yeah.
before, Jules. Just because I'm
We
old
have.
No, we
doesn't mean
haven't.
I'm not a Zoomer. Yes, we have.
No,
Yeah, during the
you're a
Perfect
late.
Blue
You're like an
discussion.
extremely late stage millennial.
Oh,
No,
oh my
what?
god.
How
Jules,
old do you
you
think I
always
am?
forget something every episode.
How old do you think I? Yeah. It's like that time where you were just
No.
like, I like Denis Villeneuve more than Luca Guadagnino, and then just
That
That
did
never
happen!
happened.
Like,
That
it
never
literally
you
happened.
said that. You said that.
Yeah,
You
if it
fucking
did
said
happen,
that. Yeah.
if it happened, why don't you
Okay,
show me the clip?
We'll go get the clip after this.
Why don't you
go get
find
the clip
this moment?
after this recording.
Yeah, you know, I challenge you. I dare you. I double dare you. Find this clip.
I will find
It never
because
happened.
It happened. Like,
Yeah, you know, no, you
Either
won't.
way,
You
I
won't
am
because it didn't happen.
insulted.
goodness.
I am insulted, Jules, by how old do you think I am? Like a late stage, like millennial? That would make me in my
Hang
late
on,
30s
hang on,
or
let me
early
look this
40s. What the fuck? So,
Wait, what year were you born again? You're like 30,
2000.
right? 2000. Yeah, then you're a millennial.
What? No.
When was the last? Oh wait, no. Oh yeah. Okay, then you're a Zoomer.
Yeah, exactly, asshole. Fuck you. So-
Oh, it was 1996. Oh, yeah, it's because of the name refers to the fact many came of age around the year 2000. Okay, I thought the last year was around the year 2000.
yeah.
My goodness.
And plus, we've had
We
this discussion
literally have.
before. Yeah, like remember
No,
in
we
Perfect
haven't.
Blue? Yes, we have in Perfect
Did we?
Blue. Yeah, AJ was like, you're like a millennial, right? And I was like, no, I was born in the year 2000. I'm 23 years old. Like, come on.
Jules, you
So-
literally forget so much stuff, and then you get super
Well, that was
defensive because you're like, "Oh no, that didn't happen," but it literally like has happened. Like,
No. The Denis
Yeah.
Villeneuve, like, Stanley Kubrick thing, that never
it wasn't,
happened.
it wasn't Stanley.
No,
That
it was,
straight up
it
did
wasn't
not
Stanley
happen.
It was
Kubrick. It was
Luca
Luca
Guadagnino.
Guadagnino.
Yeah.
Not Stanley Kubrick. Look at...
Because
yeah.
we were talking, and you were like,
Well, I
like,
mean,
"Oh yeah, I like
Dune
Dune better than
nah.
Call Me by Your Name." That was when you still thought Dune was better than Call Me by Your Name.
No, I...
Yeah, you said this.
No.
You said those
No,
words.
I
You were like, I
didn't.
like dude.
No,
more
I
than
don't think
Call
he
Me by Your
actually
Name.
said
You
that,
said
but
this
you
out
did
loud.
say that you liked Denis Villeneuve
No.
more than Luca Guadagnino.
Yeah, okay, I know for sure you at least
Never
said that.
said
Yeah,
it.
I remember that.
I'm
I was
gonna
there.
go
We were
Never
look
said
all
that.
after
there.
this.
So-
Okay, what do you?
No.
What do you?
I was supposedly
Okay,
there,
what
and
are
I
you
don't
gonna
remember
do?
saying
What
it,
are
so
you
it
gonna
didn't
do when
happen.
we find this clip? Because you owe us like you owe
You owe
us
us
Well,
money
then-
for being this like
Yeah, you owe us
like,
money.
defensive and sure of yourself.
This is this is reverse gaslighting. You're trying to gaslight us for telling you the truth. Yeah. So-
Gaslighting isn't a real thing. Stop talking like that. You're,
Okay,
you're
just do your
embarrassing
stupid
yourself.
recommendation
It's not real.
so I can go find this clip.
just tell us what we're gonna watch next. Jesus Christ. So
Alright, so, hang on, I'll just pull up the page quickly. Alright, so, the film we are watching is a filmmaker who I've talked about. We actually just mentioned him last episode. I don't know if it was in the recording or before we were recording. Filmmaker who I'm quite a fan of, and this is one of his earliest works, so we're watching, Safe from 1995, directed by Todd
Oh my
Haynes.
goodness.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, one of my favorite of his films. One of the best sort of very strange, not tension filled, but just disturbing horror films.
I
It's
was gonna
technically
say,
more of like
like-
a psychological film, but it is in my eyes and most people's eyes 100% a horror film.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, are there horror like based on what I'm looking at, this doesn't look like a horror movie, but again, it's just the poster and the
It
the
is.
still
It is.
frame.
Once
Okay,
you
yeah.
see it, you'll like no, yeah, this is a horror film.
Ooh,
Okay.
Julianne Moore.
Sounds good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
this
that's
is
just,
probably
like-
my favorite Julianne Moore performance as well.
Okay.
She
and
is
this is your
incredible
favorite
in this.
and you said this is your favorite Todd Haynes film as well?
No, Carol's my favorite Todd Haynes film.
Okay.
This is probably my second favorite.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah, very underrated film. Not enough people have seen it, so yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not.
So yeah, if
I
you
think
don't
I've
want
said
to
it
be
before.
spoiled for
Oh, go ahead.
Safe 1995, directed by Todd Haynes, watch it before the next episode because we're gonna spoil the shit out of it. So yeah,
Nice. Yeah,
that
I've
was
said this
the
before, but
podcast.
I'm not the biggest fan of Todd Haynes, but I'll give this a chance. I'll give this one a shot. 'Cause
You
I
only
wasn't,
watched like 2 of his movies.
I've seen 3 actually. I've seen
Oh, which one?
I
Oh,
saw
did you watch
the
the one with Mark Ruffalo?
no, I saw his Bob Dylan movie, the I'm Not There.
Oh.
I saw that a long
And you thought
I
that
saw
was
that a long
mid?
time ago.
Oh,
I mean, I
okay.
also saw it a long time ago, so like at
True.
the time I was like, this is like fine. I didn't like get much out of it, but I'm sure maybe I'll have a different opinion about it. But
I
yeah,
still
I was
haven't forgiven you for your rating of Carol. I could not believe
it was
that.
fine. It was okay. It was like decent.
In the words
So-
in the words of Jack, I know I say this all the time, but this one really pissed me off.
Well, who knows? Maybe I'll really
Yeah.
love this one. So, but anyway,
I think this is a
Bites the
Luca
Dust.
movie, honestly. I think Luca's gonna really like this
I'm
one.
gonna watch Carol too.
Okay.
Really? Yes! Okay, then that one you'll like more.
Okay.
Carol is Call Me By Your Name for the
Oh my
lesbians.
goodness. All right. Well, that's me. I work both
Mm.
ways. So.
So, yeah. Well, another day, another dollar. Another one bites the dust.
My
Need a better
fucking god.
catchphrase. That's not just a famous saying.
It is a famous catchphrase.
No, I'm
It
saying
is
we
a
need
famous
one that's
saying.
not a
Or,
famous
wait.
saying.
It's about as famous as fucking Pierce from Community trying to coin Streets Ahead. Like, that's what this is. Stop trying to make another day, another dollar a thing. It's
But
not
it
a
is
thing.
a thing, though. That's why I'm saying it.
It's not
like,
a thing.
It is. Look it up. It's on
It's not a
Google.
thing.
Yeah. Like when characters
let
from
me
Red
see.
Dead Redemption are saying "another day, another dollar," then
They
you
do
know
not
that like
say
it's
that.
a thing. Yeah, they did.
I'm
I've been
stop
replaying Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, we're done here. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Okay, bye
Bye.
everyone. Goodbye, bye, bye,
Bye.
bye, bye.